Alright guys, I'm busy doing a lot of different things here, so I'm going to be doing a lot of background stuff, and I'm going to be recording the Smarkoutmoment NXT Fantasy Booking pay-per-view cards from Mock Drafts roster, Darkcast 35, from March 15th, 2022. And since it's a Darkcast, it means you have to be a member to watch it, which I am a member, so I'm going to upload it and hopefully don't tick anyone off, I guess, but I mean, content's content, so this is what you're getting on the channel, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Like I said, I'm going to be recording and whatnot as well, so it's going to be probably about an hour and a half long video or so, but I'm kind of just sitting here doing little to nothing here in the meantime, so I'll try to at least get you a screen of my Pokemon I have going on here. It's the best I've got for you guys. If I move it too much more, it'll mess up. So, I don't know if I'll be talking necessarily or whatnot. I'm going to be doing a lot of different things. So, like I said, just go ahead and enjoy the Smarkoutmoment, and we'll see what else is going on in the background. You always say you can just listen, you don't have to watch. This will save you from being a member, too.
What's up, wrestling fans?
Like
Welcome to, I think this is the 35th at Darkcast. If it isn't, then some other number. I don't know. We are presenting you another episode of our fantasy booking mock draft type content here for this edition, following up on what we did 2 months ago, which we could have, just done the previous month and just been like, all right, well, we're going to follow that up immediately. But I ended up randomly deciding I wanted to do a whole bunch of Royal Rumble content, so I got that out of the way with the Royal Rumble the way that it is, and now that we're heading towards Stand and Deliver, figured, let's not dawdle anymore on this, and let's get back to what we had done before. If you've listened to the previous edition, then you know what our NXT mock draft was all about. Callum got one of his many lineups of the different wrestlers for us to pick from the onset of NXT, not the onset, not the competition era, but the black and gold era with NXT Arrival, all the way up until NXT 2.0. That's what we had to pick from. We went ahead, we picked our rosters, and we settled on who we had, but we didn't follow it up with the card. We normally like to do that whenever it's possible, so that's what we're doing. We're going to tell you what our best possible cards are for the people that we have available to us. You've probably checked out multiple editions of that in the past, so you know how it works and how we're going to do it. And I guess that's all we need to do, other than to tell us our cards and stuff. So I've had mine sorted out for quite a while. I think I had settled on a card like a week or two after we had done the mock draft. Was it hard for you guys to do?
Grumpig outspeeds or
no, because I don't put a lot of the thought or effort into it. No, no,
that's my answer. Shut up.
It was fairly straightforward. I knew the majority of people that I wasn't going to be putting on the show, so being able to try and divide it up, different matches, that was fine. And then I decided I wasn't really good. I was going to try and limit the amount of matches somewhat, but it's a big show. It's a big whole NXT thing. I definitely didn't want to limit it to 5 matches. So I think I'm figuring stuff out.
No, I've got 11 on my card. There's a couple gimmick matches. Well, I say a couple. There's like 4 gimmick matches. How many matches do you guys have?
14 for me.
12 on my side.
All right. I'll say this. I had something figured out, and then I realized that I was missing somebody, and then I changed the entire thing, put one person in the main event.
I wanted to add more matches. I have 13 people that aren't used, and it annoys me because I always want to try to incorporate everybody I can.
You have that like WWE WrestleMania sickness of no, everybody has to get booked on this show, and I got way more people booked on this show than I thought I was going to, and I'm very much not even a stickler for that.
Yeah, I don't have the confidence that this is the absolute best card that I've ever made. But I do think that almost every single one of the matches that I have on here would be good. So
it's kind of difficult not to, with NXT.
Right.
Yeah, I can confidently echo that statement as well. And really, it's impossible to miss. Like, there will be a few spots here where you'll go, yep, only he would book these guys, but it's still impossible to not have a great match.
So what's to start off?
You know what? I don't think I ever start these off. I'll start it off.
Alright, go for it.
So for my first match, this is one of the ones where I shifted things around because I realized I had all three members of the Riot Squad. I put them in a 6-woman tag against Ember, Shotzi, and Cora Jade. It feels like they would team, right? And it's a fun way to start off the show. Riot Squad being the heels, Ember's team being the babyfaces, and the babyfaces win.
I can see that pairing.
Yeah. One of them is NXT Tag Team Champions. So.
No, they're not.
Well, they were Tag Team
Champions. Yeah, they were.
Ember and Shotzi, so Cora kind of fits in.
Next match would be just a match, as NXT cards tend to be.
Or WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania 2. It's Bronson Reed versus Cassius Ohno. This was originally Samoa Joe versus Cassius Ohno, but I had to swap Joe out for Reed for purposes that I'll get to in a minute. Because Ohno... Right there. What?
Real upgrade there, then.
Oh, no.
For this match.
No. But because this is NXT and Ohno was always the doorway for the new guys, I went with Bronson Reed winning because I feel like that's like a realistic thing that would happen.
Kind of on brand for you as well.
Yeah, I guess.
Because you're the Bronson Reed guy.
I would.
Somebody who's been a proponent of Ohno to put him in at least somewhat of a featured spot.
Oh yeah, I'm totally down with that.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then I got the number one contender for the tag team titles, War Raiders against the Ascension. This is NXT Ascension, and I feel like that would be a lot
of fun. Pay attention to that before.
And their number one contenders match, not even for the titles.
They're number contenders.
I kind of have to tag team champions, don't I?
Quite an interesting one. I can definitely see that.
I have War Raiders winning here because I like them. I think they're proven to be a bit better than the Ascension.
Give me Earthquake.
But I think they'll be a really fun match, right? Where, like, two teams of people just beating the shit out of each other. You know?
I could see that being not even just one match, but I could see that being, like, an elongated feud. Like, the two bruiser teams.
Yeah, and honestly, that's part of what I'm missing about the current day NXT. There's no fun tag team. Like, that's why, like, they got the Creed brothers, but they don't got really anyone that, who's going to throw them around. I miss, like, the badass teams of the NXT Black and Gold. The next couple of matches are just some matches for the sake of being matches. We got Hideo Itami versus Timothy Thatcher, because I feel like that would fucking be awesome. And I got...
That'd be physical. That's some hard white color right there in that match.
Yeah, I mean, like, just really strong strikes. I've got Thatcher winning that one over Itami, because I always felt like Thatcher could have been so much more in NXT. And Hideo Itami...
It's weird to think that we can already talk about him being a what if
typical Triple
has
H
been this kind of scenario. He was just there, like, he seemed like he just signed with the company.
I don't really care, but it's funny. Just bury Triple H.
He might as well have.
He deserves all of it.
The next match being Carmelo Hayes against Rich Swann. I will say this was originally Carmelo Hayes against Neville. I ended up swapping that around. I got Carmelo Hayes winning here. This would be just a fun, like, cruiserweight / middleweight championship match. Not championship, but you know what I mean. I like Hayes a lot. He's the one dude. Him and Breaker from NXT 2.0, I'm like, yeah, the money is here, because this needs to happen.
I like Swann as well. Swann's...
Yeah, Swann got a raw deal in WWE,
Did well on Impact, though, so good for him.
He's doing very
said Enzo, but you guys are okay with
the
that.
Women's Championship. It's a ladder match. There are 8 women. It's
Smart.
Zeta Ramir, Chelsea Green, Emma, Nia Jax, Kaylee Ray, Lacey Evans, Diana Perrazzo, and Bianca Belair.
This is ladder match number 1 contender, you said?
Yep. The reason this is first of all, ladder matches on NXT cards are always great. I put Bianca and Lacey in this because I see a feud forming out of it where, like, Lacey will just stop Bianca by tying the braid to a ladder, and then, like, that would get Bianca all worked up to her when she breaks free. She just whips Lacey with the braid, sends her running down the ramp. That kind of eliminates them. Nia Jax is here to be the big woman who takes the bump into the barricade and then gets buried with the ladders. Of course, I have Diana winning because I think she's the best women's wrestler going today, or at least one of them, and she'd be a good number 1 contender. Here's the match where it's, oh wow, only Robert would book this. NXT Tag Titles, Beer Money versus Blake and Murphy. I will say, it was Beer Money against Red Dragon. I switched that around.
I'm surprised.
I somewhat. I mean, I know what he's doing with. Well, I can get a good indication of what he's doing with Red Dragon.
That's true. Yeah.
So, yeah, and I know he's the biggest Blake and Murphy fan out of anyone that I've ever met who actually likes Blake and Murphy.
I think Blake and Murphy were great. I think Beer Money is a great tag team. I think James Storm and Bobby Roode should have had a run in WWE. I think Bobby Roode should have had a run in WWE. I think this would be a lot of fun. And Beer Money's winning, and they're retaining their titles. I should put that out there. They are the champions, so they would, I guess, next go on to fight War Raiders.
Down for that?
NXT Women's Title Extreme Rules match. Asuka going in as champion against Rhea Ripley. And this would be a fucking hard-hitting match. This is NXT Asuka, so she barely loses. And she's not losing here, I'll say that. Rhea Ripley's going to put up a damn good fight. But Asuka's going to get her to pass out in the Asuka lock. Rhea doesn't tap because Rhea shouldn't tap. And it's a great match, continuing the tradition of great NXT Women's Championship matches at TakeOver.
I would be interested in how it will work in an NXT environment. I think the match would be really good. It's just a case of I've seen them on the main roster.
That's right. This was the WrestleMania. You know, honest to God, skipped my mind.
Yeah, and they don't. And to my knowledge, they don't have great chemistry with each other.
Watched it.
I don't recall that match at it was 37.
Maybe last year.
It was last year. It was literally
I think that was on night 2, and night 2 was like the bad WrestleMania out of the two of them. And yeah, I don't think they covered themselves in glory. But as I say, if it's NXT Asuka and it's NXT Rhea Ripley, then that probably is a better match.
I imagine it would be a great match. NXT North American title. Tyson Kidd goes in as champion. Loses the title to Neville. I'll say this. This was originally a triple threat with Kidd, Strong, and Nakamura. But I flipped that.
Thank you, Mankind.
I loved Kidd and Neville in NXT. I think Kidd being in NXT got him back on the main roster. I loved the gimmick where he always had the headphones in and he was ignoring Natalya in favor of Cesaro. I loved all of that so much. Neville in NXT was essentially a happier Pac, and he's great. And I imagine that if he just stayed in NXT, it would continue to be good. And good things are good, as we always say on this channel.
Yeah, he had a fantastic match with
I would have
Seth
had a lot of fun
Rollins.
watching that.
What was it, the week
I
after
don't
his
think I would have
debut?
gone
That was a
with
fantastic
Kidd
match.
being
That's one of the matches
champion
I would go
at
back
this
and
time.
actually watch.
I think I probably would have thrown him in some other kind of match, but
That was
you can't deny the idea that the match would still be really good.
Which I think he was
So the
actually
reason
a
I
lot
want him
better.
being champion
Nobody
is
says
because
that.
I
Though.
had this really fun
I don't
thought
think
of
I've
him
ever
being
heard
like,
that before.
you can't challenge for my title. You're not
Why
even
everybody,
from North America.
kisses
Like,
each other's
really
butts and
cheeky,
whatnot. It's
dumb
like, come
heel.
on, dude. Call out what you don't like.
And Neville beats him and then goes on to have a great run.
I'm okay
Because
with that.
Neville was great. And my NXT title match is a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Hardcore.
Nakamura and Finn Balor. Finn Balor is champion. Nakamura is going to beat him for it. I think these two could have had so much more in NXT. Obviously, they were ships passing in the night because Nakamura just came in and Balor was going up. But you can't tell me that this wouldn't have ruled all kinds of ass.
It ruled all kinds of ass. Ruling on the ass.
Yikes.
Yeah, I think they had one match in NXT. That was when Balor was just about to come up to the main roster.
I was gonna say, didn't they do that?
And that was like the passing of the torch moment. So Nakamura beats Balor, and then I think he got the next NXT title shot against Rude. So yeah, we didn't, and then we get to see it
against Joe, I thought.
Oh yeah, it's Joe. Sorry, yeah. Oh no, was it?
No, but Rude beats Nakamura.
Oh yeah, Rude does beat Nakamura. Yeah, I get all that mixed up. That's kind of the area of NXT that's a big blind spot for me a bit.
But I think that would be a lot of fun, you know, like a really hard-hitting,
really going downhill, you mean?
New Japan style, but obviously in the quicker WWE pace.
You can't go wrong with Nakamura versus Balor in that kind of environment, yeah.
You could probably go wrong with it on SmackDown or something, but you can't go wrong with it.
It was full on just.
They fought for the
They fought for the title, didn't they? Good lord.
Yeah, they fought for the Intercontinental title.
Oh my god.
Show, yeah. That was when Nakamura was in full hitman in crotch mode.
Alright, so obviously I mentioned it, but you guys figured it out. The main event for War Games match.
Good.
So what happened was, originally I had Balor against Adam Cole.
Excuse me.
Red Dragon against Beer Money.
Yeah.
And I had the Triple Threat North American title match with the idea being the Undisputed Era have all the titles and they would be losing them. And then I said, oh my god, I don't have Drew McIntyre on the card. What can he do? And I didn't want to put him in a throwaway singles match like against Happy Corbin at WrestleMania. So, you know, I said, you would be a really fun leader for War Games. I'll put him in War Games with the Undisputed Era. And I said, well, who can I pair him with? I have the Brit and Bruisers. They would have a good pairing because they're just guys that like to throw down and fight. But who do I have as the fourth? I don't really know. I have Samoa Joe, who would absolutely wreck shit in a War Games match, and I want to see it. So that's the main event. It's the Undisputed Era against Drew McIntyre, the Brit and Bruisers, and Samoa Joe.
I can see it.
And of course, because it's War Games, the babyfaces have to win.
As they should.
And I would say that this sends, you know, like Drew McIntyre can now go on to fight Nakamura. The Brit and Bruisers can go on to say, hey, War Raiders, we want to be in this tag title match. Joe can say, hi Neville, you're too happy-go-lucky and you fly around a lot, I'm going to catch you. Like, whoever wins this can get all the title shots. And Undisputed Era can climb back up at any given time because that's the team that they are. But I think I'd have a lot of fun watching this card. You know, like, it says something about the ease of which NXT is, that you can just put all of this shit together and go, I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we've done these before where even if you can come up with a decent story, it's like would I really watch, you know, let's say one of the... I knew he was going to use explosions so I protected and I crunched on him. Hidden Murdoch and Bunkhouse Brawl. Like, that fits the characters. Would I really watch that? Time. I don't know, but I'd watch everything here.
I think some tweaks that I would potentially have done, I never bothered to sit down and figure out my card of what I would make with your rosters, but based off of you saying this and me looking at your options, because you don't have a couple people on there like Kushida. I don't blame you for not having somebody like Lars Sullivan on the card, obviously, but I think I probably would have gone more McIntyre, Neville, Brit and Bruisers,
who's actually
or McIntyre, Neville, War Raiders,
not having a title match at all. But then I said, you know what? I'd rather the title be on the line as well.
I mean, for War Games, because I think Joe and Drew is like they're two big guys because Disputed Era is relatively on the smaller side. I think I'd probably balance that out like that, which would take the Neville kid match out of the way, then that would switch everything around and all that. So I don't know how that would, the cards would fall. But every match that you've said, yeah, I would want to watch.
Like, I didn't get Forgotten Sons on the card, but I wasn't trying too hard.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised you resisted the temptation to put them in the War Games match alongside Drew McIntyre.
It's funny that you said that. I wanted to put TM61 in the Number 1 Contenders match, but I was like, the vibe of the War Raiders and the Ascension's too good to throw in a monkey wrench for the sake of it. There's plenty of women I didn't get in the card because I just decided I don't want a women's tag team division. Like, I think it's proven that that's not a great concept. Like the way that they've done it, I wouldn't just have a dedicated NXT women's tag title.
It's a shame Blake is an Australian. You can't have Blake Murphy and TM61. Just the Australian foursome.
And then Bronson Reed is the
against. You can have them against the Forgotten Sons, and it could be all like, oh, we don't like the French.
That's the war game. It's the war between America and Australia.
Yeah.
Do you have another American that could fit with the idea with Forgotten Sons like that?
I mean, honest to God, I'd probably just put Lars Sullivan with the Forgotten Sons and just...
There you go.
It would probably be, I think you'd probably put the Forgotten Sons with Riddick Moss, I think, is probably the best fit for that.
Oh, maybe, yeah. There's also, by the way, for the Australians, there's also Grayson Waller.
Oh, yeah.
I actually quite like that. I think that Grayson Waller and Grayson Waller and Riddick Moss, looking at each other, just seeing them on your list, I think could actually probably be a pretty good tag team.
Yeah, I could see that.
Probably would have a lot of fun. I'd rather Riddick Moss with Grayson Waller than
I've actually grown a lot more fond of Riddick Moss in the last couple of months, even though the Mad Cup Moss is just so bad. He's actually a pretty decent worker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the character that he's got right now is shit, but at the same time, I can see why they haven't just given up on him. They have to figure out the right thing for him.
I think he'll be a big star one day. I think, quite a few people. Like, I have faith in Grayson Waller. I think there's some in the future of WWE that don't look like terrible.
Were you thinking about anything to use Kushida that just didn't come around, or?
Yeah, I would have thought a tag team with Hideo.
I would have either put him against Itami or with Itami, but then I was like, I don't want to just do that because that's so played out. I feel like
you'd have the combination of Nakamura, Itami, and Kushida. You could actually have Team Japan as well at some point in this thing.
Well, there you go. I mean, my God, we're gonna start that whole World Cup thing.
Yeah, your global wars, essentially, of this thing.
I mean, Grayson Waller with TM61 and with Murphy and the Bridam connection, and I mean, you got the options here. Bronson Reed, another Australian.
Yeah.
Lots of Australians.
Well, technically Kiwi. He's New Zealand, not Australian, but...
I thought that he was Australian. Yeah.
Nah.
If you wanted to look for another tag team, you could always say, oh, Harland, your name is Lars Sullivan, and team him up with Joe Gacy. Because it's basically the sort of thing going on right now, right?
Yeah.
Seemed like Abby Leif, Electra Lopez.
I almost put Abby Leif with the Cora Jade Shotzi tag team, but I decided against it.
Yeah. Well, you have 3 for the Riot Squad, so.
Duke and Shafir, I don't know why I just didn't let you have them. You have Baszler. I don't know why. I was like, let me take Duke and Shafir.
Probably because there are very few options left.
Also, I wouldn't have booked them in anything.
But you can at least say, well, they're with Baszler.
Right, yeah. Ringside for what I've got her doing or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to get most of my women on the roster on the card, and I think that's great. I didn't get Valentina Feroce, but,
Yeah.
Who does? Who gets Valentina Feroce?
I don't think that even her tag team partner does, because they just sort of dance and look at each other like, we're doing this, we're gonna lose.
August Gray, I didn't get on the card. Troy Baxter, a lot of the newer names I didn't get, but that's because I think I just had more of a connection to the older NXT.
They're more established stars and stuff. I don't think anybody's really going to be like, oh my god, you didn't put August Gray on here?
You got to scrape the barrel a little bit at that point. So
That's true.
Like, I'll spoil this. Like, I don't think anybody's going to be upset that I don't have Cesar Bononi on my card.
Breakout Superstar.
Is
that's
a
breakout star. That's first.
Yep.
Tony, please.
You should have a match
always
for
make
the
that
breakout
joke,
star.
the breakout star.
Oh, then he would have lost. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Alan, do you want to go next, or you want me to go next?
I'm fine going next.
Go for it.
Okay. Yeah. So, actually, I just need to get it up. Okay. So, I have a couple of kickoff matches. Just because, it's a big show anyway, so I decided the 10 matches would be in the main card. The kickoff matches would be, just the warm-up, a bit more of like the final throwaway matches. So I had the first kickoff match, which is my, like, why the fuck have I put this match together match, which is
That's a good way to say it.
the team of Mojo Rawley and Everrise against Adam Rose and the Vaudevillains. Because I liked Mojo Rawley more than you guys did. I thought Mojo Rawley was fun, and I think Everrise are fun as well. And they're goofballs, and that'd be a team of 3 babyface goofballs against Adam Rose and the Vaudevillains, who it would be the evil version of Adam Rose, rather than ideally it'd probably be more of the Leo Krug side than Adam Rose. But I think you need to have some kind of. Because this would be a kind of comedy-style match, so Adam Rose fits it a bit more, but it's the heel. Nobody likes Adam Rose. He's coming out with the party people, but he's being, like, a dick to them. And they're kind of, like, not really partying as much as they would have been beforehand. And the Vaudevillains are there, and they're probably the ones that pulled him out of his party-loving ways, and now he's kind of part of their collective. And I like the Vaudevillains as well, and I couldn't find them I really wanted to put them on the card, and I couldn't find I had other tag team matches which I had my heart set on a bit more, so I thought, who's the one that lines most of them out of the people that I have available? Probably just about Adam Rose. It was either them or it would have been a heel Drake Maverick, but I thought Adam Rose fit it a bit more. And I wasn't putting Velveteen Dream on this card, so that's a spoiler.
Whatever,
He's not on this card.
I don't believe you.
You guys
you had
just
a
gushed over
problematic
him
him, you
all
picked
the
him up?
time.
He was my last pick, so I had to. That was at the point where we were picking between
Was it like
Velveteen
him
Dream,
or
Lars Sullivan. Yeah, basically. Yeah, so that's the first one. It's just like a fun
And
little
they were
6-man
both
tag.
in the best,
And then the other
the
kickoff
best
match is a
NXT
more
match ever.
serious women's match between Frankie
WrestleMania
Monet and
34.
Tainara Conchi. Because, as we know in recent times, Ty is actually very good in the ring, or very competent in the ring,
And you guys were burying
a
her
lot of Frankie Monet
at the time.
and I know how good she is as Taya.
And people were like,
I think
yeah,
these two
she's
would have a
hot.
decent match
And you're
together.
like, whatever, dude.
It wouldn't be for anything really on the line, but
good.
it's just
Dude, shut
putting
up.
2 decent women's wrestlers against each other.
You know you suck.
And sometimes it's all you need.
You
Yeah,
know
exactly.
your opinions suck then.
Good things are good. And then we have we start off the show with the main show with an 8-man elimination match for the number 1 contendership for the North American Championship. It'll be Ty Dillinger, TJ Parker, Apollo Crews, Solomon Crow, Fandango, Mansoor, Tyler Rust, and Odyssey Jones. It's a good blend of the size aspect with Odyssey Jones. You've got a lot of faster guys like Rust and Mansoor and Apollo Crews that can whiz around the ring and do some cool stuff there. You've got more character-based stuff with Dillinger and Parker and Fandango. I'd probably have Dillinger win because for a while he was the real darling of NXT, and so he gets the win. He gets the next opportunity at the North American Championship. But yeah, just be a fun, fast-paced, elimination style match. I binged it as like the way they used to do it in like mid-2000s SmackDown and stuff like that, where it's like 6 guys hanging around the ring, 2 guys are in the ring at any time. You can tag people in and out, and then it's just eliminations happen quickly. It probably goes about 10-12 minutes.
Damn it.
But yeah, that's kind of the way I envisioned it going. You could maybe kick off some other feuds off the back of it, like have something between Odyssey Jones and Solomon Crow.
Usually I go a lot faster
like
than
start off
this,
more than Apollo Crews and CJ Parker. I could see them pairing up well as well. But you have Ty win. does 10 thing.
Trying to catch Pokemon and get Pokédex.
Now, were you tempted to make it a 10-man so he could do the 10 thing?
I probably could have. There's probably at least 2 other people I could have put into it, but I just thought, do I really want to add Jake Atlas and Humberto Carrillo into this as well? It's just like, it'd be fine, but it's a case of, I think 10-man, you have to have basically eliminations every 30 seconds pretty much at that point, so so it would make people look a lot worse. But yeah, I think just a fast-paced opener. And then I'd mixed that up with the number 1 contenders match for the Tag Team Championships. It would be Enzo and Cass versus Imperium. And of course, Imperium, I mean Bartel and Eichner.
I like it.
Yeah, proper Imperium tag team version.
Yeah. I just think it's good. It's the serious, really wrestling-orientated tag team against the talkers, the hot babyface act in terms of just because Enzo and Cass were great. Obviously, their run in the company ended very inauspiciously and not exactly in the best circumstances. But when they were in NXT, they were awesome. And I think pairing them up against a super serious team that would do most of the heavy lifting, most of the work, beat up Enzo for a while, and then you make the hot tag to Cass, and I'd probably have Enzo and Cass win, even though I like Imperium a lot. It's just they were a team that should have gotten at least one run with the NXT tag titles.
I can see that feud making a lot of sense too, because it's like Enzo and Cass are goofballs, and they're just having fun, and Imperium's just kind of like, you people are a disgrace to the tag team division. This mat is sacred to us. You should be taking this more seriously. And then Enzo's walking around like a fucking chicken. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I thought they were a perfect match for each other. We then follow that with a 6-man tag. The combination of British Strong Style, Pete Dunne, and Mustache Mountain, taking on Hit Row. Obviously, Swerve Scott's.
Taria.
Top Dollar.
Yeah, Top Dollar and Ashane, yeah. And I know that it kind of goes against my better nature because I know that Ashanti and Top Dollar aren't on the level of the other 4 guys in the match. But I think Hit Row as an act were really good. And I wanted to put British Strong Style together because I couldn't figure out putting them in individual matches.
Wow, that
so have them
like
as a collective take on Hit Row again. It's kind of like the Imperium and Enzo Casper reversed. Hit Row are the cocky, arrogant heels because I think that was how they did their best work in NXT. And British Strong Style were the very I guess the strong babyface acts. You've got Tyler Bate and you can't really turn Tyler Bate heel. Pete Dunne is obviously a bit more of the tweener type, but when they're a unit, they're really good as babyfaces. So I thought they'd be able to carry the majority of the match, and Swerve's great as well, and Swerve would do a lot of cool stuff.
I Miss Thunder.
I would like to see Swerve have matches with Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
I guess that's why it's good to have quick attack still.
Who would have thought that by the time we got around to doing these cards, his name would be Butch?
So dumb, I hate it.
Yeah. Last man standing match, Matt Riddle against Aleister Black. I originally had a lot of toying around with both of these guys potentially being in the main championship match or the North American title match, but then I thought these two both have an aspect of their character which is beat the fuck out of someone until they can't get up anymore. Obviously Matt Riddle with the MMA style background, submission based, and does all that cool stuff as well. And Aleister Black with the Black Mass to the head. It's like he's a knockout blow specialist. I think these two would have some really good combinations with each other. They could do some really cool sequences.
That'd be cool.
And I like the last man standing aspect of it just because it's the knockout element, whether it's Matt Riddle choking Black out or it's Black getting that one kick off. I'd probably have Black win because I've had a lot of babyfaces win so far, so it's just like Aleister Black wins and he pushes himself towards the main event picture. You can easily rehab Riddle afterwards.
I don't know that I want to know how long I've had this on.
Yeah,
for.
I just think that would be a cool match to have.
Like a lot of these things. Fuck it, yeah, sign me up. You know, I mean, like, how can that possibly be bad? You know.
We have.
I missed when that was NXT. But
glad I didn't put this on T-Time Speed.
Well, we have. I have a War Games match as well.
I'm really trying to. I was trying to learn my new moves and whatnot. See how much I like things.
I have a women's War
Games
Games match.
Like certain other things.
Mix it up a little bit.
Alright,
because I had all my title matches set, which I'm going to talk about next, but I thought
going to get to the next level here.
I've got this really interesting collective of women in. It was the heels that really led it for me, which was I had Paige, Mercedes Martinez, Sonya Deville, and Mia Yim. And I thought, okay, those are just a bunch of like arse kickers right there. They're just like the mean girls, the like very aggressive, more physical types. Paige would be a really good mouthpiece for them, I think. And the other three are kind of her. She's kind of the leader of the group, and the other three are very like physical heaters. I kind of see it as like she's in a similar way. It's like the Shayna Baszler and Duke and Shafir, but you just have three of them instead. And yeah, I think that'd be a good unit. And they would take on the babyface collective of Becky Lynch, Toni Storm, Nikki Cross, and Tegan Nox. I think they were all really good baby faces. They're all more of the like Becky's obviously the more when you went onto the main roster, the more arrogant style baby face, the more like big tough talker. But when she was in NXT, she was a bit more of the white meat baby face. The same with Toni Storm, Nikki Cross, Tegan Nox. They were all very beloved within NXT. And I think that putting them together against the heels, it would make for a fun match. And obviously, as it's a War Games match, the babyface team should win. And so you just have Becky tap out Mia Yim, and then it leads further down the line to a Paige and Becky one-on-one match with the winner fighting for the NXT Championship.
Where's so you have Nikki Cross as one of the baby faces. Is she more like crazy but baby face, or is she more Nikki ASH, or how do you?
Oh no, she's Nikki Cross, but she's baby face.
Okay.
And yeah, because towards the end of her NXT run, she was a pretty solid babyface by that point. Even though obviously when you come in with originally with Sanity, she's heel. I think she was way too popular with the audience that they couldn't keep her heel for long. And Toni was way better as a babyface than a heel. Her heel run didn't work at all.
Yeah.
Tegan has always been a babyface in NXT when she was there. And Becky's better as a babyface than a heel. Even though her heel work recently has been really good, she's still better as a babyface.
Agreed. I like the idea of Paige being a heel too.
Yeah, Paige is better as a heel. I think even though her entire NXT run was she was a babyface because she was the anti-diva, I think once you get to the point where all the women in NXT are good wrestlers now, you need to set yourself apart a bit more. And I'm seeing her more in her kind of absolution role here. And Mercedes is great, Sonya's great, Mia's great. I think they would all work better as heels. So.
No. None of these five want to
then
get
I have a ladder match as well.
I tried
so just, again, copying things off Rob's.
Good for us.
They won't spread
Cruiserweight Championship ladder match.
Really any of them.
Fatal 4-way. Ricochet, Lio Rush, Angel Garza, and Tyler Breeze. Tyler's obviously more of the veteran type who's more wily. I'd see him as kind of like akin to a Christian role in a ladder match nowadays, where he's the one who's like just trying to sneak up there every now and again. Even though he's still a baby face, he's the one who's more crafty with things to do. Angel and Leo are the heels, but they're more flamboyant, they're high flyers, they can do some really cool stuff. Same with Ricochet, obviously. Ricochet goes into this as the champion. I'd have Ricochet retain as well. It'd just be him taking on 3 of his toughest challengers and a lot of crazy spots involving ladders and falling off things from great heights. That's kind of what 3 of them, at least 3 of them are very well known to do, and everyone loves Tyler. I still have Tyler and Fandango as Breezango, but I thought, okay, I didn't find like a good spot for them to be in a tag team. So I thought, okay, I'll put Fandango in the North American Championship match and have Tyler Breeze in this one, because Tyler Breeze also deserves to stand on his own a little bit in NXT.
To the final.
Because of his whole run there.
Unfortunately, I've done this so many times.
North American Championship.
Like Fandango and
nice
Breeze in a tag team thing. Looking at your list.
I mean, I almost put a bit more Joe Rawley in that kickoff match.
That's one of the only things I can think of.
You got a lot of walking to do just to get back.
So that's why I wanted to separate them. Yeah,
just to get
Tyler
to
did a lot
Abra.
of work in NXT on his own anyway, so.
Even though he has access to Abra somehow.
NXT North American Championship match, Rusev, the champion. Of course, love Rusev. Defending against babyface Cameron Grimes. Because I love Cameron Grimes as a babyface recently. Cameron Grimes, in the last year, has been the most fun times with Cameron Grimes. Yeah, he's been so good. And I think it would be a scrappy underdog match against the very dominant and powerful Rusev. I would probably still have Rusev retain the championship here, just because if I'm having Ty Dillinger win the number one contenders match, it probably should still be on a heel. And yeah, but I just think that Grimes would give him a good fight, would show a lot of fire and intensity, but Rusev's just too strong and too powerful, forced him to either tap out or pass out to the Accolade. And yeah, if I can make Rusev a champion in any promotion, I'm kind of more aligned to do it.
Do you have him kind of like that United States title Rusev version, like
United States title
North American championship hostage sort of deal?
I mean, I like that aspect of it. I liked his time as the US champion, but I also kind of think it should be a blend of that and his TNT title run. Like, rather than lean heavily into the whole Russia type thing, especially nowadays. But it would be more about him being, I don't want to say like necessarily God's favorite champion, but he's got more of just he's a person rather than just a vessel for a country.
Yeah.
Tag team titles, no surprise here. Revival was the champions, defending against the Street Profits.
Yep.
I don't think we ever really saw this match, did we?
They didn't cross-pollinate, I don't think.
Yeah, so yeah, it'd be new, it'd be fresh, it's something different. Obviously, Street Profits, again, more of the high-flying, more like dynamic tag team, and Revival, very fundamental with their tag team stuff. I can see them doing some really cool stuff, like beating up Montez Ford for ages, and like keeping Dawkins away from him, and then you make some hot tags between them and stuff like that, and it will all get really exciting, lead to a really good crescendo at the end. Again, I probably would still have the Revival retain because I just think they're the stronger unit, and I would have them have like a really, really long reign as the champions, just because that's how I would book it. Like a whole tag team division essentially built around them. And yeah, the Street Profits would definitely get an opportunity later on down the road, but I think that it'll be a fun match, and it's kind of a shame that we never really got to see it.
No way that would be disappointing.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
No way in hell.
Move on to the NXT Women's title match, a three-way, because two of these members of this match are really good in triple threat matches with each other, which is Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks. Because why wouldn't you put those two together? But then instead of having Becky Lynch, which would have been the obvious the third person to put in, I put in Io Shirai, because Io has great chemistry with Sasha Banks. We've seen it in that one match that they had together in NXT. I think she has good chemistry with Charlotte as well in the few interactions they've had. And it would just be Charlotte goes in as the heel, she's the champion, of course. Have Sasha Banks more as like the tweener role, and Io Shirai is the flat out babyface. I'd probably have Sasha get the win because I think that she would have the most interesting run as champion, because if she's in that kind of tweener role, she can basically take on baby faces or heels and maintain that kind of whole.
I could show off
I don't subscribe to one side or the other. I'm just the boss. So if you think that you can take the title off me, then just beat me. I'll take on anyone. And yeah, but I think it'll be a lot of fun with these three involved. And yeah, you'd have like plenty of submission wrestling. I imagine there'll be a spot where Charlotte Flair has Sasha Banks in the figure eight, and Io Shirai leaps in with a moonsault and takes them both out.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'll be some cool spots in that.
It's so predictable.
And that leads to main event, the NXT Championship match. Volta. Who's Volta?
Yeah, not Gunther.
No. Volta,
the great match with Gunther and Butch.
It's a massive David versus Goliath, because it's Volta defending the NXT Championship against Sami Zayn. The babyface, the rightful Sami Zayn. Even though this Sami Zayn is entertaining, this is the only rightful babyface Sami Zayn, taking on the giant behemoth who beats him down all over the place. It's kind of like slightly akin to the Rusev Cameron Grimes one, but obviously Walter is a bit more dominant. He lets his opponents do more stuff to him as well. So you have like Sami hit a few like half and half and exploded suplexes on him and stuff like that. Walter just keeps trying to take him down with power bombs and splashes and chops and everything, and Sami just won't stay down. And then eventually, it seems like Walter's got to get hit one final power bomb and get him over. Sami manages to avoid it, hit him with like 3 consecutive haluva kicks, finally takes him down and gets the pin, and it's the big whole celebration of like he's overcome the giant. You have Walter prior to this have like many month reign as the champion, and Sammy's finally the guy that can dethrone him and gets that big celebration, same way that he got at our Revolution. Yeah, I think that was like the. Obviously, you wouldn't have Kevin Owens ruin it straight afterwards in this version, but I think that was one of the ultimate like celebration style moments for NXT, like him finally capturing the title. And so I just want to repeat that here, just against a even bigger foe than he beat previous time.
So I'm looking at
that is the most Callum thing, but it's like it's awesome. You know, like that's something I would love to watch.
It's kind of as straightforward as you can get, and you know that I'm.
That's kind of my thing, yeah. That's my USP. Just do good matches.
Well, I mean, even the underdog overcoming the big monster kind of thing too. Like, yeah, I probably would have booked almost exactly the same thing.
It's tried and true, but it works, you know?
Man,
I toyed around a little bit, because my original one before I decided to switch up to that was Riddle against Walter. I really would like that as well, but I thought the underdog story fits more Sami Zayn than it does Riddle.
So who is it that you're missing on here? I'm looking at you're missing Velveteen Dream, Bull Dempsey,
Jordan Miles, Humberto Carrillo, Jake Atlas, Arturo Ruas, Drake Maverick, and Rhino on the men's side. On the women's side, I'm missing Zoe Stark, Scarlett, Rachel Evans, Aaliyah, Santana Garrett, Jessie Camilla, B-Fab, and Katrina Cortez, your favourite. And I'm missing the Legionnaires in the tag team. So realistically, I'm not missing too much. The only one I think that... Well, the only couple that I would even considered were like Rhino, Maverick, and Stark, probably. And it makes me feel like I probably should have left Scarlett to you with Karrion Kross, but then again, there was not many top women to choose from at that point, so I decided to just take her.
Yeah, and I actually, on my list, I've used all the women. So if I would have had Scarlett, she would have just been, she's going to accompany Karrion Kross, so it would have been a waste on my team.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of just an overall, just, I'd say, with NXT, all you need to do is put good matches together, and that's kind of what that's the goal. That's the aim.
Right. This is one of the simplest ones, and also kind of hard, though, because isn't it, like, I don't know if you guys had the same kind of thing that I had, but I found it hard to pick between the options.
Oh yeah, there's loads of, I put quite a few combinations together before settling on this final card, but it's just, yeah, it's a case of, I mean, we were all of the same opinion that we think that Black and Gold NXT is one of the greatest runs of a wrestling promotion, just from in-ring match quality that there's been in years and years and years, maybe ever.
They're in a place right now where I'm sure a lot of people like 2.0, genuinely. And if Hunter was to ever just be like, hey, doing Black and Gold, people would just lose their minds. If they were just like in 2 years from now went back to Black and Gold, because it was just a genuinely fun time to watch wrestling. And I think that's missing.
Yeah, I mean, if I would say to anybody, what are the two time frames and overall like aesthetics that I mesh well with as like a fan, I'd be like, all right, that like new gen attitude era, early kind of time frame is like formative for me. But Black and Gold NXT is like, yeah, this is my thing. I like these characters. I like these matches. Give me more of that. And look at that, AEW is fun.
No kidding.
No.
Alright, so then my card, I will first address the people that are not on the card, in at least some fashion. Some people are on the card as, like, superlatives. I could not find a spot for Boa, Cesar Bononi, Josh Briggs, Dexter Lumis, or Zack Ryder, which I was like, how am I not finding something for Zack Ryder?
Lumis and Ryder, I'm surprised about.
I tried really hard, and I just couldn't quite figure it out. But I also couldn't figure out for another 8 people. But I will say, I figured out the reason why I don't have them on the card, so it's justified in some fashion. And that's because I am doing the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and that they failed to get into the finals. So the 4 teams that did not make it into the finals are Indus Sher, Rinku, and Sarov, or Veer and what's his name now? Zanga, I think.
Yeah.
So Veer still can't come, even on Tony's fantasy card.
Yeah. I've got a different variation of Chase University, Andre Chase, and Denzel Desjardins, because he was just, hey, this guy is a college athlete. There you go, that's Denzel. So why not have him be Andre Chase's pupil?
He just got,
I've got
never really
what I'm calling Rhythm and Style, because I like giving my stupid names, which is, and then remember, these teams failed in the Dusty Cup. Ikemenjiro and No Way Jose. I can just picture them together, I don't know.
Why? You didn't want to just call it Jacket? No way.
I tried to figure out some other, like no jacket, no entrance kind of things.
That's like an anti-masturbation PCA.
No coat, no entrance. That kind of thing. Or something like, when you get into, like, a restaurant, it's, like, got a dress code. Maybe dress code would be that. But I thought Rhythm and Style would be kind of a fun throwback kind of name. And then another team that failed is called Unbelievably Fine. Bo Dallas and Kona Reeves.
Unreal. The fact that you took the time to bother to come up with that, unreal, Tony.
Because that was one of my easy, okay, well, those 2 are going to be a tag team, and that's what I'm going to name them. Now I need to figure out what to do, kind of things. That was one of my very early on things, and then it ended up not being on the card at all, so, shit happens.
That's a bit harsh on Bo Dallas. You tied him to that guy.
Yeah, Tony, what the hell?
Kona Reeves was a lesser Bo Dallas. And
that's really different in that regard. That's like a million. That's a million feet below the sea level, and then he's hit rock bottom, and then he's under rock bottom compared to Bo Dallas.
I didn't see anything super duper. Oh my god, he's the most amazing thing about Bo Dallas, though. And there's so many other better people on this card that I needed to pay more attention to. So I was like, well, I like the fun gimmicky thing. They're gonna have failed.
If you add Boa to that group, then it's the unboa-leavably fine.
There you go. Maybe I could add Cesar Benoni in there too, so it could be unboa-no-needably.
But since we're here, when you said the first 2 names were Benoni and Boa, I'm like, Boa-noni?
Maybe Boa-noni could have been a thing.
What a load of Boa-noni.
It's a shame that I don't have Cesaro on here, because then it could be Cesaro Boa-noni.
What's wrong with you?
I don't have an actual, this match goes into this match, goes into that match thing, I think.
That's fine.
Or maybe I did. I don't remember. I have it laid out in some fashion, so I don't know if this is actually the order it would have gone, or if it's just the way that I placed it. But, fuck it. We'll just say random matches. NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. You have the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are the champions, and they are going in as heels, and they're going to lose to Pirates of the Sun, because why not just keep messing around with it? Kairi Sane and Saray.
Guys, well,
you got Kairi Sane's pirate. She found the necklace.
I gotta tell you.
They used the necklace as navigation or something. I don't fucking know how the pirate thing works, but
why are you not working there? Every fucking time we do this, you're literally just doing what they would do.
To be fair, actually, I mean it is still a good name, Pirates of the Sun, but I actually quite like the fact that because Saray's character now is basically Sailor Moon. They could literally just be Sailor Moon.
Because you're a wrestling fan doesn't mean you deserve a blood sacrifice.
She's a sailor, she's a pirate. It works. Yeah. But they would be a fun tag team too, I think.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
They are the much more serious wrestlers, and they beat Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, who are the chicken shit weasel heels, and new tag team champions. We've got a rookie versus a veteran singles match. There's no real name to it. That's what I labeled it as, like, try to figure out a name another time, and I didn't.
It's not quite 30.
Tommaso Ciampa against Austin Theory, with the idea in mind, basically being Ciampa's like, hey, I'm a grizzled veteran of sorts, and Austin Theory's this cocky son of a bitch, and I'm going to teach him a lesson.
Now, how do you know that?
But Austin Theory wins.
How do you know about his mother?
He does some sort of shenanigans. I don't know. He's a heel. So he just pulls a fast one on Ciampa, and it's like, oh, you fucking thought that you were going to get me, and you know all the things about the ropes and stuff, but I got you, motherfucker, that kind of thing. And, obviously Ciampa's got the ability to be pissed about that afterward, and I think that they'd have a good match. Looking forward to seeing that in some fashion again.
I reckon we're just going to run it.
Where did I leave off on here? Singles match. EC3 against LA Knight. Two cocky douchebag assholes. And I'm not even sure who necessarily would be the heel of the babyface. I think I'd lean more towards EC3 being the babyface, though, because he's a little bit more funny. And LA Knight, even though he is a babyface right now, I think he ultimately works a little bit better as a heel, so I'm going to go LA Knight winning this. He's a little bit more serious, so let's give him the win. I can just picture this being, I'm the top 1%. I'm fucking great as well, blah, blah, blah. Typical kind of scenario, that feud.
I kind of like it.
It's like he could basically say, like, basically say, like, I'm in the top 1%, and LA Knight would be like, well, I'm in the top 0.1%, and that's not, what does he say? The facts of life.
Facts of life, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And that's not an insult, that's a fact of life.
Then we have the Stakes and Weights tag team match. Stakes being spelled Stakes.
I really hate you.
Because there's stakes. There's stakes to the match. So that is JC Jane now. It's Heavy Machinery against the Creed brothers. And it's essentially Heavy Machinery are obviously the way that they used to be. They're the lovable babyface tag team. They're these big singlet wearing goofballs. And the Creed brothers are these very serious singlet wearing guys that are like, you are in the fucking weight room and you shouldn't even be because you're fat and gross and we don't like you and we're the serious guys and whatever. And Heavy Machinery is just kind of, tucky and shit. And I think that's going to lead to that.
Again. You'll get there.
Stakes and Weights tag team match. Sometimes I legitimately think of the name and then I'm like, all right, let me put the people in there. But I actually had these down as that they would potentially be a really good pairing. I think that could be a fun match. 6-man tag. I don't know what gimmick I would give this. I don't know if I would give it some kind of like no DQ thing or not. I'm leaning more towards it probably wouldn't, but I could see there being a rationalization for it. So depending on if I looked at the rest of the card a little bit more and I go, we can swing another one. I think that maybe we could, especially considering the people involved. We've got Sanity, Alexander Wolf, Killian Dane, and Sawyer Fulton. Because remember, he was supposed to be a part of that. And that Madman Fulton thing kind of creeping in my mind. Eric Young is part of Sanity. I almost made him like the more Super Eric thing and put him in a tag team with somebody, but ended up not doing that. But he's not involved in this match directly. Instead, he is locked in a cage because he is a little rat bastard, and the other team needed to, win some kind of a match to get him to do that, so that way he doesn't interfere in this. The other tag team that they're fighting are the baby faces in here, which might not have necessarily translated as baby faces in some ways, but I think that this could lead to something interesting. It's Authors of Pain, which also includes not just Akam and Razor, but Brodus Clay. Because I think that the Hall of Pain thing that he had the original idea for, we play into that a little bit. You got three big brutes like that against Wolf, Dane, and Fulton. beating the shit out of each other. And you got
my gimmick of just doing shit and just throw shit at the wall and let it stick, pal.
And then you've got Paul Ellering ringside as well. So you got Ellering on one side yakking up, Eric Young yakking up the other thing. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the idea that this is like no DQ or so, just so that people can beat each other up a little bit better.
Yeah, bro just needs it, probably.
Yeah. And we know that Akam and Rezar are going to have the ability to just, like, take a lot of punishment and dish it out, too. I could have easily just had Brodus Clay not on the card. I thought about actually making this Akam Rezar and Dexter Loomis, or doing something completely unrelated and Sanity not being Sanity anymore and whatever, but as things started to form, I was just kind of like, I could kind of see that. Brodus Clay, Akam, and Rezar just being these three, like, monsters that are all teaming together in the Authors of Pain. Yeah, why not? Maybe Brodus Clay's not named Brodus Clay. Maybe he gets renamed something else like the Occam Razor thing. I don't know what it would be.
Apostrophe.
Occam apostrophe S Razor. NXT Cruiserweight Championship match. The winner and the probably champion going in, and the most likely babyface, I guess, Austin Aries, yada yada problematic, against Jordan Devlin.
If he's the babyface, you're going to be hosting this. If he's the babyface, you're going to be hosting this in a very in a very unique environment. And to be fair, this one is like, to a certain demographic on Twitter, this is going to be the most interesting match in a very way that you do not anticipate.
To a certain demographic on Twitter, Tony has just gotten cancelled.
But if you think about it, if we're booking based off the NXT eras and looking in the past and kind of time bubble, Jordan Devlin, a hell of a competitor. Austin Aries, he knows what he's doing. Before you learn all that stuff, this would be a pretty good damn good match.
Coming to a Control Your Narrative show real soon.
Yeah, I mean, you got EC3. You want to just put that in the...
it would still be a fun match if you take all of that stuff out of the equation, yeah.
And I can see Austin Aries being more of the babyface. He's a little bit more goofy. Not that, babyfaces have to be goofy, but Jordan Devlin's somebody who's kind of more of an asshole character, at least in WWE, the way that they've presented these two different characters, and Austin Aries had a fucking banana in his pocket all the time, so let's go with that. And Aries probably just does something to retain that shows that he's a little bit more ring savvy than Jordan Devlin, and he outsmarts the ace. We got a tag team match, MSK, yes, just MSK, Dash Carter and Wesley, against what I'm calling Here to Play, Duke Hudson and Elias Sampson. I don't know why I teamed them up, but they just felt like it seemed like it made sense to me in some fashion.
So one of them's here to play poker and the other one's here to play guitar.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're two bigger guys.
Bar? Like, what's the origin story of this team?
Let's see. You need some music for the atmosphere at the casino.
I think it'd be quite funny if I could tell the backstory of how Duke Hudson won Elias's guitar in a poker game, and he's holding it over him so he'd be his tag team partner.
He instead of throwing change when Elias Sampson is playing on the street corner, he tosses a poker chip. That's his. There you go. There's a vignette. Things like that. I think that they've got a little bit of an advantage over MSK, but depending on if you want to go a little more babyface heavy or a little more heel heavy, you've got the idea of this Hudson and Sampson big guys beating MSK, or look at that, the babyfaces end up getting the win over them and working at that. I didn't pick a winner necessarily. I guess maybe I'd lean a little bit more towards Carter and Lee just for a babyface pop, because why not? Yeah. Sometimes it's good to just do that.
Taking my gimmick of just doing bizarre shit.
Well, I mean, let's look back on the previous cards. I tend to at least book
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What are you doing?
Let's to go for a number one contenders women's battle royal, and this is where I incorporate every woman that isn't in the tag team championship match or the later on actual women's championship match. So we have Alexa Bliss, Amari Miller, Blue Pants, she's not red, white, and blue pants, Candice LeRae, Carmella, Dakota Kai, Gigi Dolan, Indy Hartwell, JC Jane, Mei Ying, Raquel Gonzalez, Vanessa Bourne, Xia Li, and Zelina Vega. There are so many people in here that I could have done separate singles matches for if I wanted to make this an even bigger card, and I had options there. I had the Toxic Attraction duo mixed with Carmella, I think, against like 3 other people. I think it was... actually, no, it might have been... Actually, I might have had a 5. I'm looking at like some of these notes that I had. I might have had like the pretty girl type of thing as Carmella, Dolan, Jane, and Bourne. Maybe Alexa against more of like the Candice, Indy, Dakota type. Blue Pants, I think, might have been in there. And then it was like, well, I'm having too many like multi-team things, and I already have 14 matches or something, but I just threw them all in there. You can have multiple people that could potentially win a number one contenders match because you got people like Raquel, who could always look like she's, the biggest woman in the thing, so she could win. You've got Candice LeRae. She's pretty, always going to be one of those people you could root for. Xia Li. She's an ass kicker. Alexa Bliss. She's a former, not an NXT champion, but she's accomplished many titles in WWE. He got an underdog like a Dakota Kai, but I'm gonna go Mei Ying winning because she should have been something. They made it seem like she was a big deal and that she was like this unstoppable force of nature, and she wrestled 2 matches and she lost one of them. So fuck that.
She's an unstoppable force now. Wendy Chu.
Yeah, she lost out to the thing that everybody ultimately loses out to, which is sleep. North American Championship match. This one was one that I had bounced around a lot. Lots of people could have been in this, and I ultimately decided to go Baron Corbin as champion. Remember, this is NXT Baron Corbin, so it's not Happy Corbin, against Dominik Dijakovic. 2 tall dudes who I think could have a damn good match, and I'm going to go North American.
Okay.
And I'm going to go Dijakovic winning. Babyface. Even though Corbin was babyface in NXT, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, for a while. Until the I assume that... Are you doing the gimmick where he's beating people in like a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would work, and then Dijakovic actually gives him a big fight.
Dijakovic gets the win over him. Baron Corbin can rehab a little bit and eventually go up to the NXT championship level. But he suffered 1 loss, and it's against a guy who's a big guy. So I'd like to see that. I know that I'm the biggest Baron Corbin fan of the bunch, but still.
Yeah.
I did think about putting him up against somebody where it could be just flat out the gimmick of he hasn't lost yet and he's beating people in that time frame, so he's going to have like a, if you can last 5 minutes with me type of deal or something. But ultimately I was just like, you know what, I think I'm going to put the North American title on them rather than another match that I'm going to get to in a little line. But, you could very easily just go, fuck it, that's just a match, and the other one's
Who ended up
North
beating
American.
him in real life?
Who beat him in the... I think that was
Joe.
I think it was Rhino.
Rhino was the other name coming to mind, but I can't imagine that it was Rhino.
Let's see here. Cage match.
Baron Corbin first loss. Let's see, undefeated.
Beat Dempsey, okay. Wow, I'm not able to find this.
Okay, so I'm looking at this here. It says that he lost to Neville in the semi-final of a number one contenders tournament for the NXT Championship.
Neville.
So Neville was his first
And Neville had already been champion at this point, right?
Yeah, this is
when it becomes Neville Balor.
I think it was. Let's see, it's feud for the NXT Championship, so it was at. No, because this was before NXT Takeover Rival, so this is before Owens wins the title.
Right.
So it's actually Neville. It was Neville and Owens in the final.
No. Owens just gets the match at Rival. I think the finals of the tournament were Balor and Neville. And then Balor gets the title shot against Owens.
Oh, yeah, because he gets it afterwards, yeah. Okay.
Oh, good for me. I also booked Balor and Neville. Good job, me.
Let's go to the NXT Tag Team titles. Now remember, that Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is the stakes and weights tag team title match kind of thing. So the Creed brothers had won that match, so who were they going to go up against? Well, it's either grizzled young veterans or the current champions who win this match, American Alpha. Because American Alpha versus Creed brothers down the line is something I definitely want to see. Of course, we can't see it now, but you know what I mean.
I put them in like the main event of my WrestleMania or something. American Alpha was great.
They really were great. And Gable and Jordan against Brutus and Julius Creed, I think, could be one hell of a match. So they have to beat the Grizzled Young Veterans in the meantime. Again, originally, I had that just as the championship match and said, well, that's the best possible card, so let me just flat out go with it. But then I was just like, you know what, I'm going to kind of set myself up with like the two lesser matches to lead into excitement for the future instead of just going, hey, balls to the wall, this is the best match, that's the best match, that kind of thing. And, you know, Grizzly Young Veterans against American Alpha, certainly not going to be a bad match.
Yeah, it'd be an awesome match.
I can't say that I wouldn't watch it.
We had a singles match here that also could have been that North American Championship match, but I wanted to leave them free to be in that upper mid-card main event type of level where they're not stuck to the North American title. Keith Lee against Karrion Kross. Just the way that we should have gotten it proper, and Keith Lee wins.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this match. We kind of, we didn't really see what it could have been because one of the guys got injured like minutes into it. So yeah, I think with more time and a fully healthy Karrion Kross, this could be fun. Keith's great. Yeah, Keith's great.
The other alternative is if Karrion Kross wins this match, it's, you know, kind of depends on what I do for the main event type deal. But right now I currently have it as Keith Lee wins. I have a War Games match. This one, I was struggling with a whole lot because I knew something I wanted to do and I just could not quite figure it all out. So, very much not my favorite War Games match that I could have possibly booked, but I didn't want to incorporate some other people elsewhere. I've got Legado del Fantasma. They are Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, Raul Mendoza, Zelina Vega on the outside, and Andrade is actually in Legado del Fantasma.
Yep.
And they are up against Damian Priest, Zion Quinn, Kalisto, and Sin Cara. Because in my mind, Zion Quinn is the mid-carder, Kalisto and Sin Cara are the tag team, and Damian Priest is the main event one. So it's kind of like Priest.
Headliner?
No, there's two more matches.
Yeah.
Priest and Andrade, Quinn and Escobar, and then Lucha Dragons against Wilde and Mendoza.
I see you haven't given them a team though.
I haven't, because I could not think of one.
I've got one for
you. How much time did you spend trying to give them one?
Not long enough. I probably would have thought something if I would have dedicated. It's just Team 1 right now.
I've got one for you. The Tattoochadors.
There you go. The Tattoochadors.
Because Damian Priest and Zion Quinn have a lot of tattoos, and they're luchadors.
Charles.
You know what? I'm writing it down. The Tattoochadors. Callum's suggestion. There you go.
Yeah, put Callum's suggestion next to it as if that's why it's a bit rubbish, this name, because Callum came up
No,
with.
I was more so that I don't want to take credit for it.
Oh, okay.
Not like it's unbelievably fine.
No, that's one Mango original.
Yeah.
Unbelievably fine. But I'm actually gonna get the heels winning the War Games match here.
Yeah, you would do in that collection, because it's kind of like a completely just all over the place, a little bit babyface team. So having the heels winning this one kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And I think that part of it could be potentially Zelina Vega on the outside, just screwing around, tossing an extra weapon in there or something along those lines. But I like the idea of somebody like an Andrade pinning Sangara and just being like, there you go, that's the heels won. Sucks that the War Games didn't work out the way that it did, but hey, sometimes shit doesn't work out.
Do you know what's funny about this? Is you are bending over backwards here, trying to put together a War Games. I had Undisputed Era, and I wasn't even fully committed to the idea of War Games.
Right. Well, I knew I wanted Andrade with Legato from the start, because I was like, well, Andrade on his own, there's so many Karrion Kross and Dijakovic and these other people on the list that I was like, no, I want to give them more dedicated spots. I don't think Andrade versus who else is on here? Like Andrade versus Baron Corbin would be something that I would really want to dedicate specific time to. So starting off with, I want Legato to be that 4 with Vega. Then I needed to find 4 people for them to fight. Thought about the idea of doing Ciampa against them. Thought about the idea of doing even like American Alpha and 2 other people. Then it would be like that kind of a thing. Like maybe they go with like the collegiate athletes against them or something. But yeah, MSK almost was in this match for a little while. Is what it is. NXT Women's Championship match. Shayna Baszler is champion. She goes in against the plucky underdog babyface that we've seen a million times.
Yeah.
Bayley. And Bayley overcomes and wins because, it's NXT.
Yeah, that was. You could argue say that they're the women that defined their different eras. Like it's kind of like it's the Bayley era, then it's the Asuka era, then it's the Baszler era. So they're 2 people that didn't really get to cross paths that often or at all in NXT. So yeah, I definitely want to see the babyface Bayley.
What the hell?
Yeah, no. Well, it's different now as well because obviously Bayley's the heel and Baszler's a heel and has never changed from that dynamic. So they really can't, at least at this point, go against each other. So
I still think that. Sorry. I still think that Bayley's going to come back as a babyface, but that remains to be seen. And then once I get this cough out of my way, I should not be trying to drink super fast.
It's a dark cast. You're good. Tony gets sick.
No, I tried to drink very fast and went down the wrong pipe. So we have a similar story here for the NXT Championship match, and just because we tend to book a lot of the same things because it's as great as it is, you've got the big heel monster Kevin Owens is the champion going up against the plucky underdog babyface Johnny Gargano.
Amazing.
But Kevin Owens wins.
Yeah, I can see it.
We just had
Tony's
Bayley.
An asshole, and he likes the jerks. That's why.
Well, see, I was looking at the 2, and I was like, well, do I want Shayna to retain? Do I want Owens to retain? Do I want both to drop the titles? What am I going here? And I was like, I don't really necessarily like the idea of the plucky underdog babyface wins both matches. So ultimately, I thought the Bayley one was more important. Johnny Gargano is always just going to be one of my absolute top people from NXT, but he can win the championship again from many other different avenues. If I have Kevin Owens retain, I can make that singles match between Karrion Kross and Keith Lee a number 1 contenders match. And then we can get Keith Lee versus Kevin Owens. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
yeah, definitely would. Yeah, I think that's probably your 2 top guys that you can put in the main event together. And yeah, the one one thing we know about Gargano and Takeover is that he doesn't miss. So yeah, putting him in the main event is the right decision.
You got the idea of potentially down the line, Karrion Kross could be somebody who beats Keith Lee, maybe Gargano beats Karrion Kross, or you could do Corbin moves up and he beats Keith Lee and loses to Gargano, and then Kross beats Gargano, or Ciampa gets in there, or Theory is the one that beats Gargano, or you can play around with a lot of these type of main event type caliber guys. We could end it with Kevin Owens on top. Kevin Owens in NXT was just fucking great too. So I'm not gonna
coffee too. Like people forget how quickly he was out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But Kevin Owens in NXT is great. This is one thing that I can guarantee that I would watch from you. Like this is the way NXT should be booked now. I bet if it was, Johnny Gargano would still be there.
I can't imagine that he would have left if it would have been still the black and gold thing with those types of people involved. But instead, we've got the way that we've got things now. So
I mean, Dolph Ziggler is the NXT champion as we speak. Did anyone think that would be the case when we did this draft?
Did anyone think that would be the case when NXT 2.0 was like, it's the youth movement?
It's the youth movement, and two of their three champions have been Tommaso Ciampa and Dolph Ziggler.
It's the youth movement, and the main event or the main announced segment tonight is Miz TV with Dolph Ziggler.
Jesus Christ, yeah, that's true.
It's the youth movement, and their two main champions are Dolph Ziggler and Mandy Rose.
At least until Santa deliver.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We'll say, yeah.
So yep, those are our mock draft cards. I still think that we have the potential in the future to do the combo card, where we can settle on our ultimate one of the three of us. We have our cards all mixed together, and we can just be like, all right, now we've got the full range. What are we gonna do? So maybe that'll be next month. Maybe something else. Maybe we wait a little bit. I don't really know. We don't really have a game plan, but that is something that you could stay tuned for, because eventually down the line we'll end up discussing this, and I'm sure we'll have some similar ideas and some completely different opinions. I'm sure there's going to be at least one plucky underdog babyface going up against the monster heel champion in some fashion, whether it's Owens or Walter.
Clearly there will be a War Games.
There's definitely going to be a War Games. There's most likely going to be a ladder match for, if not the North American Championship, something like the Cruiserweight Championship or whatever. There's going to be a tag title match, and it's very hard to think that it's not going to involve American Alpha, the Revival, that kind of thing, We got some variety, though. We can spice some things up, and I don't know, maybe we make some more interesting tag teams. Maybe we put some people up against each other that we've never seen before. Maybe we just run it back and do the same things we've seen a couple times.
Yep, they're all possibilities. That's kind of all the possibilities.
Or maybe we don't. There you go.
Yeah, and there's the other possibility, yeah.
So, obviously this isn't the same as we normally do, so it's not the whole, leave a comment on YouTube and do that whole thing, but, you can still leave a comment on the YouTube thing, or if you're on Patreon, you can still leave a comment on the way that Patreon has that, but let us know. What'd you like? What are the things that you think sounds pretty cool? What's the parts that just made you go, what the fuck was that? Rob, you definitely at some point have to put your NXT card on this list for us to keep track of. I'm looking at Callum's right now. I would say Callum's is best and his worst. Let's see. Or the thing that I would like the most and the thing that I would be the least interested in. The thing I would be least interested in would probably be the kickoff match, Mojo and Everrise against Rose and Vaudevillains, or maybe the Frankie Monet and Tainara Kanchi one. But then again, it's your kickoff matches, so you knew that those weren't super duper the most important. The one that I'm most interested in, I could see that Last Man Standing Riddle and Black one being the sleeper best match.
Yeah, I
don't know if it'd be much of a sleeper. I think it'd be a pretty damn good match.
One of them would end up sleeping. It's kind of the point of the Last Man Standing match.
That is true.
Yeah.
What about you, Rob? His Callum's best and worst?
I would say the worst from Callum's card. Honestly, I'm not thrilled with the idea of an 8-man elimination match, but I get it. Because, we gotta put as many people as we can on the card. The best thing on his card is that main event. That main event is, yeah, that's good shit.
You can't go wrong with water and anything.
No, you cannot. I'll eventually, I will be transferring mine in a moment.
Yeah. Well, I'll go with Tony's one then. The one that I would be most excited about is probably, honestly, Baszler and Bayley. I mean, I really like the Owens and Gargano match. Of course, I know that match would just absolutely slap, but Baszler and Bayley, I think, has more of a storytelling potential in the match. Because I think just Owens and Gargano are just going to have a really cool, like, high-level indie match.
Whereas yeah, you know what you're getting with that for sure.
Yeah. Whereas Baszler is going to be like just beating up Bayley for ages, and Bayley will make the massive comeback, and also has the babyface winning, which makes it a bit more like feel good. One I have least interest in is probably Authors of Pain and Sanity.
What the fuck are you doing?
I mean, that is primarily because Tyrus is in it. And Tyrus sucks.
But why? So, what is Tony doing?
I mean, there's a few that, like, most of them are, like, good matches. I mean, it's a mixture of that and maybe the EC3 and LA Knight match, because I like them as characters. I don't really see them as that interesting in the ring.
Yeah, your focus is always more what's happened when the bell rings kind of thing.
Yeah, and those two don't float my boat as much.
Yeah, as I look to update my card, let's look at Tony's card real quick. Worst on the card. It's a shame to say that there's a little more than one contender for this, but I really bet that 6-man tag, and you can get the obnoxious, and we're gonna put Eric Young in a shark cage. It's like, come on.
Put the small guy in a cage.
What do you?
The small guy who's the best worker in the cage.
That's the threat. So yeah, that one's not great. I also have to say I'm not a huge fan of a battle royal when like there's so many better wrestlers. Like even in this match, like there's so many better wrestlers. If you just wanted to have like a 4-way or something and just leave some women off the card. Your best match, probably one of your 2 title matches, because how can you go wrong with Owens and Gargano? How can you go wrong with Bayley and Baszler? And yeah.
So do you have yours?
It's there. It's not all nice and formatted yet. It's a little all over the place, but the matches are there.
Alright, so taking a look at this again, I'd say my lowest on yours is probably Reed and Ono.
I understand.
Double checking. I don't know, maybe Hayes and Swan. They're about the same range to me.
Yeah, they're supposed to be. Like,
the match that I'd be most excited for would be... I mean, War Games is War Games. So...
like, of my own, I'd probably say that Asuka and Rhea Ripley in Extreme Rules.
The potential for that one, for sure, is up there. But I think I'd ultimately end up going War Games just because it's War Games.
Yeah, I'd probably, the one that I'm least excited for is the Riot Squad against Ember, Shotzi, and Cora. Just because, again, it's got Sarah Logan and like, to be fair, I think Shotzi and Ember are a bit hit and miss as well. So, and Liv's hit and miss. So, yeah, I think that would be fine. It's just not something that I'm super excited about seeing. While I'm intrigued by Beer Money against Blake and Murphy, because it actually probably does look like it would be a good match, I probably would say you go Balor and Nakamura 2 out of 3 falls. That speaks to me quite a lot. Kid and Neville as well, but I'd probably go with like the Prime NXT Finn Balor against the Prime NXT Nakamura would just be the best match.
I actually put a few good ones on this card. I'm very, very happy I didn't come here and just shit the bed. First time for everything.
Well, as I crack my back, let us know what you thought, everybody, and what you have ideas for if we start doing that ultimate combo card. If you have any things you want to pitch our way, since we're not going to just be recording this immediately afterward or something like that, let us know, and we'll factor that in and potentially be like, oh, fuck, yeah, that's a really good one. Let's go with that or something. But that is our part 2 of this fantasy mock draft booking all-time roster card ultimate whatever thing. There's a million ways we can classify this. Wrestling with the past, look back on, list, matchmaker, etc., etc., etc. And let us know that you like these things by telling us, because, I mean, there's no other way to do it. Well, I guess technically on YouTube there still is a like button, so hit the like button on that, even though people won't be able to see it unless they're part of the members only thing. But, pass this along, share it, let everybody know that this is the type of content that you can get on the Darkcast material, and let us know some other ideas of what you'd like to see us do in the Darkcasts the rest of this month or next month or something, depending on the time frames that we got. But thank you for supporting us and being on this Darkcast tier and listening to the show. Hope you enjoyed it. No plugs. We're not going to bother to do that. So, adios, everybody.
Yeah. See you guys.
Barrels through him. He takes him out with an F5, and whoever is ringside or whatever gets the information. Brock Lesnar has taken over Godfather's spot in the Royal Rumble. Because I want to check off all the boxes for Royal Rumble tropes. So far we have the guy who can go the distance. You start off number 1 and number 2 with enemies. You've got enemies team up against other ones. You got multiple people take out the big man. They have to 5 people or so are able to take that person out. You've got the underdog in there. You've got Foley in there. He's a trope in and of himself. You got Kane cleaning house. You got the 2 people that are big eliminate each other at the same exact time. A lot of those kind of things. The super quick elimination with Santino Marella. The big man taken out by The Undertaker. I think that the trope of getting attacked and not being able to enter is a really fun one. It shouldn't happen all the time, and it shouldn't happen to people that are very serious unless it's going to go somewhere. So I think the Godfather is exactly the right type of person for that, because his entrance is the big thing for him, and he gets to do the entrance. It just happens to be that's what fucks him over. So how do you show that Brock Lesnar is a serious deal? Well, he starts eliminating people. Bob Backlund, fuck you, you're gone. Kurt Angle, fuck you, you're gone. Kane, the big man that's been eliminating people all over the place here, who's really been putting up a big fight, he is gone. And he's had his little bit of a moment with The Undertaker by now. So what else more is there for him to do? I don't think that anybody at this point would think that Kane probably would win. So I think that that's a good enough spot to just be like, all right, he's gone. So that leaves us with Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. We've got Triple H in the ring. You got Undertaker, Randy Savage, and Brock Lesnar. Until another person comes in here, John Cena. Because anytime you see somebody cleaning house, you gotta offset them somehow. So John Cena is a huge deal for this. He is definitively one of the most decorated champions in WWE. He is a top star, and he is somebody who has history with Brock Lesnar and somebody who could be exactly the right type of person to eliminate Brock Lesnar. He doesn't get a chance quite yet. Edge has to come out first, and there's no real spot for Edge other than around that spot. So I kind of like Edge best when he's a little bit more of a heel, so he's going to eliminate Randy Savage. And that's a match that I would love to see down the line. Maybe that's a WrestleMania kind of deal, I don't know, but that's a good way to establish that he is a player here. And it's also a good way to subvert expectations, because by now you've had, the big man comes in here, and pretty soon afterward he gets eliminated. You've got the big man Kane gets offset by Diesel. Eventually Diesel gets offset by Batista, and there's elimination. Andre gets an elimination from Undertaker. You think that the same thing's going to happen with Brock, with John Cena, but Edge comes out and he eliminates Randy Savage. So that's a little bit of a difference with that. Same kind of deal with this. Triple H gets eliminated, and he gets eliminated by Shawn Michaels, because it's every man for himself. And that's another trope where you got two best friends, two buddies, two partners, two tag team members, and they turn on each other. And this just happens to be one of those things where maybe Shawn is a little bit more of the prick, I don't know. Or maybe it's something like Triple H goes for a clothesline when he thinks that Shawn is not looking or whatever, and Shawn ducks it, super kicks him over the top rope. See you later, buddy. It's a shame that you couldn't go a little further, and we couldn't have made it just the two of us. Now, entry number 25. You can see it on the screen here. This is a long entry, and this is because I don't know for sure who I want this to be, because there are options. So I will clarify by saying this is the celebrity spot. Now, celebrity options could be a wide variety. I wrote down a couple. The alternative is, if you can't get a celebrity, it's Shane McMahon. But I think that the celebrity option is way better than just putting Shane in there. And the four that I narrowed it down to that I think would make the most sense for the Ultimate Royal Rumble are Mr. T, Mike Tyson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Shaquille O'Neal. This sounds ridiculous, but trust me, I thought about it. It makes sense in my mind, because surprise entrants are a big part of the Royal Rumble, and you've had Drew Carey in the past, you've had people return that are legends, but we're in a fantasy world here where everybody's in their prime, and everybody, the people who have passed away, they still exist and everything, so you can't have the returning legend and not have it lose its luster. You have to have something else that's a surprise, so you need an outsider, and that's where I think that the celebrity thing goes better than Shane McMahon, for instance. Out of the bunch here, my personal preference would probably be Shaquille O'Neal, because he would be another one of those big men that would stand out there, but I think Mr. T would be a hell of a lot of fun. I really think Mr. T would be a lot of fun there. And Arnold, I mean, we never got to see Arnold Schwarzenegger step into the ring and do anything like that, so, fucking Terminator. Why wouldn't you turn that down? Mike Tyson, one of the biggest people that have been involved in the Attitude Era, so makes perfect sense to me, but I would lean more towards Shaq, then Mr. T, then Arnold, then Mike Tyson, and then finally Shane McMahon. We're going to need another person in here, though. Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to come in. And he is, of course, a major player, because he's Stone Cold, of all people. So we're really filled up this point. We got Shawn, Ric Flair, we've got, who else we have down here? Undertaker, and we've got Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Edge, whoever the celebrity is, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So let's get rid of somebody. Brock Lesnar. Brock has been going on a tirade, and he eats a stunner, and, middle finger, clothesline, Brock Lesnar's gone. That kind of resets things a little bit. But let's bring out the fucking Rock. We're really loading this up now. And the Rock needs to get an elimination, so he takes out the celebrity. Why not? The celebrity can't last that long. Do you really think Shaquille O'Neal is going to go from number 25 to number 30? I don't think so. Or do you think that Mr. T is going to last longer than that? Do you think Shane McMahon should have been number 3 at the end of this? I don't think so. So, adios to the celebrity. And with the Hollywood connection, The Rock taking the celebrity out, it makes perfect sense here. I think Rock is a little bit more of a heelish tweener in this scenario, but you can play around with it as much as you want. And who's going to follow The Rock? Roman Reigns. You got to tie into that. Tribal chief. He is very much the tribal chief, too. That's the best version of his character. So, Roman Reigns is in here, and it's way too full. We got to eliminate somebody. Let's take out Edge and have him get eliminated by John Cena. They are major rivals with each other, and John Cena hasn't gotten an elimination yet. And he's John Cena. He needs to get an elimination. So, Edge, adios. See you later, pal. At this point, we are on number 29 is going to come in. Almost perfect. Almost the perfect pick. Mr. Perfect gets number 29. The reason why is because Mr. Perfect has always kind of had this little thing going of almost being perfect. He doesn't win all of his matches. He didn't win the WWE Championship. He didn't become the Royal Rumble winner. So I think that that's something that you need to take into account here. If he would have had the perfect pick at number 30 and lose, it would be more disappointing. But if he got just shy of it, then he's in his head. Then it's not, I got the perfect pick, of course I'm going to win. I was one person off, and I think I like my Mr. Perfect having a little bit of hubris. So, Mr. Perfect's in there, and I like the idea that following that is the big man again. Now, I wrote down Big Show or Braun Strowman because I do think that both have their justifications. Braun Strowman, of course, I've been a big fan of him. I think that he is somebody who is underrated and somebody who should have been utilized way better in WWE. He should have been a champion at least another time or two. I love that he had gotten the most eliminations. I love that he was dominant and won the greatest Royal Rumble. I am leaning a little bit more towards Big Show, though, just for legacy. So, I wrote down Big Show or Braun Strowman because if you care one way or the other, you can put the other one in there. I probably would go with Big Show, but Braun Strowman has a special place in my heart. Let's put it that way. So let me just put these off on the side here so that way you can see who is left a little bit easier. You've got Shawn Michaels, you got Ric Flair, you've got The Undertaker, you've got John Cena. Edge had gotten eliminated already by John Cena. The whole Brock Lesnar thing is over with. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You've got the celebrity is taken out. So you've got Stone Cold, you got The Rock, you got Roman Reigns, you got Mr. Perfect, you got Big Show, or Braun Strowman, whatever it is. This is who we're working with. I'm not going to go back up and do the whole red thing. That's already, 9 people? And that's the end of the field, 9 people. But that's a third of the Royal Rumble is still left in there. I like when Royal Rumbles aren't just 2 people in the ring. I know sometimes that's fun for something a little bit different, but I like the Royal Rumble being, a lot of beef in the ring, that kind of thing. They have to, secure the ring and make sure that they've put the supports in because the weight's, too much and it's going to collapse and everything. But it is 9 people, and we are already done with the entrance, so we got to start talking about eliminations here. When it comes to a big man, what do? You gang up on him. So this big man that just came out, these 8 other people team up on him, and that's a group of 8 that you can't overcome if you're Big Show or Braun Strowman. Big Show and Braun Strowman together couldn't overcome these 8, because each one of these people could theoretically take out one of them. So, see you later to them. We've got another elimination that has to follow up this, and I think it's Mr. Perfect. I think that he gets taken out by Shawn Michaels, because Mr. Perfect versus Shawn Michaels is a match that I would love to see in their primes. I booked that for one of my things, and I love the idea too that we can play into another trope here for the Royal Rumble where Shawn Michaels has gone the distance. He is number 1, and Mr. Perfect is number 29, and he's pissed that he didn't get number 30, and he had almost a perfect pick. And the story of this Royal Rumble in a lot of ways has been Shawn Michaels could go the distance again. He could be perfect. and he eliminates Perfect. So Perfect is like, no, fuck that. And even though he's eliminated, he interferes, and he gets Shawn Michaels eliminated. Whether he eliminates Shawn Michaels himself, or he helps someone else like Ric Flair eliminate him, it's up to your interpretation. I think it makes a little bit more sense if Mr. Perfect flat out eliminates him. So that way they can kind of set that up. So now we're in what we've got the 6 people that are going on here. Oh, wait a minute, no. Ric Flair was already taken out. Why am I doing this? I'm losing track of this. Ric Flair was out there. So no, Shawn Michaels taken out by Mr. Perfect in a sense that just through Mr. Perfect. We got our final 5. And this is how I kind of picture this. You got John Cena in a corner. You've got Steve Austin in a corner. You've got The Rock in a corner. You got Roman Reigns in the corner. And Undertaker sits up in the ring. You know, he's been knocked out. He's laying down. He sits up. And he looks at the corners. The big man's dead center. And he just says, like, fucking bring it. Because what else is The Undertaker going to do? He is, in many ways, that 5th member of the Mount Rushmore. Now, you can look at this and go, well, why is Roman Reigns in here instead of Hulk Hogan? I don't think of Hulk Hogan as much of a Royal Rumble guy, despite the fact that he won 2 of them. Isn't that kind of weird? So I kind of wanted Roman Reigns to be in there instead. Just imagine Hulk Hogan's in the title match or something. There are a lot of people that I really wanted to include in this. AJ Styles, I wanted in this. I wanted Roddy Piper. I wanted Jake the Snake, CM Punk. I wanted Ultimate Warrior in this to have a little, like, runs to the ring and does whatever his thing. But I think that this is a good group of 5 to go down for. And now we got to start really thinking about how these eliminations go. So, what's the general rule of thumb? If you got a big man, you gang up on him. After you go with that final 5, The Undertaker is eliminated. He's taken out by these guys. And I think John Cena should be the one that does the honors. You know, he should be the one that truly eliminates him. So we're down to the final 4. Sorry, John. You just got eliminated by The Rock. John Cena expended all his energy getting rid of The Undertaker, and The Rock is able to take advantage of that because The Rock and John Cena have their little bit of their thing. But the Tribal Chief is there, and he's able to knock out The Rock, just to show a little bit of dominance in that way, and you know he's going to be booed. So now we're down to our final 2, Steve Austin and Roman Reigns. And after some fighting back and forth, Roman Reigns hits a spear, and the crowd is booing like crazy because he's got him, and it's just going to be another Roman Reigns win. But Austin is able to just narrowly avoid getting an elimination here, kicks him in the stomach, hits him with a stunner, gives him the old middle fingers again, and Stone Cold Steve Austin wins. So you celebrate this with a true babyface winning. He takes out Roman Reigns, which is befitting of the way that Royal Rumbles have been going, where Roman Reigns either wins it or he is the second person, the runner-up essentially. You've got a little bit of the Rock and Reigns, you got Rock and Cena, you got Cena Undertaker, you got... I think that this is the best way you can book this. I think that you can tweak a couple little things here and there, like maybe you get rid of like the Chris Jericho spot for a CM Punk, or you replace Mick Foley in there with somebody or whatever. But I think that this kind of checks everything off for the most part. So that's my Ultimate Royal Rumble. I don't know if you enjoyed this presentation, or if you thought that this was a little bit too over the top, a little bit too, verbose of me just running through this or something. But if you did, and you want to see more fantasy booking things approached from this kind of angle, let me know. And if you want to hear more of like just my own personal ideas without the consensus thing, with or, I might do things after we do the consensus thing and just book how would I do it, that kind of thing. let me know that too. I figured this was worth experimenting with because I had written it all out, and I wanted to give you guys something that would be a little bit different. So, yeah, I've already taken up 57 minutes of your time, but I don't know what else to say. Stone Cold Steve Austin won the Ultimate Royal Rumble. Not exactly the person that I thought I would have had winning this until I started to write it out. But that just goes to show you something else too. Even if you approach something thinking that like, oh, this is exactly what I'm going to do, you can't be rigid about it. You got to go with what makes sense. So when I was working through here, the things that actually made me start to write this whole thing were the Batista and Diesel elimination. I was like, that'd be kind of fun to see the two of them tumble over the rope together. Starting it off with Brett and Sean, Ted DiBiase trying to buy the number 30 spot. Eventually, I got into the Eddie Guerrero thing through that, and having the idea of Undertaker eliminate Andre. Those were the things that really made me start formulating this. So, I don't know. I'd like to see what you guys have to say. I'd like to see, some other ideas and some other pitches for your Ultimate Royal Rumble. I am very curious if Calum and Rob are able to do this at some point. And, I don't know. My voice is kind of going a little bit here. So, I'm just going to cut this off. Thank you for all your support, everyone. Being a part of the Darkcast thing is just awesome. And hopefully when you have these extra little things like this, it's a good way for you to know how much I appreciate it. If not, then I'll just flat out say it. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you for helping keep the lights on. And we will see you, or I will see you next time, or they both will also see you next time, depending on when you're listening to this, whatever the next episode is. Whatever it is. I will see you later, everybody. Thanks again. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And adios for now. We do have two champions that haven't been picked. Velveteen Dream and Leon Ruff.
Yeah, those are the two, obviously. Yeah.
Alright, so then my pick, right? Robinson?
Yep.
Okay. I'll go Saray.
Oh, that was the one I was going to pick her next time, yeah.
I'm surprised you waited that long.
And I'll go Red, White, and Blue Pants.
No, you didn't.
It's fair.
She could be a jobber if I need to. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she would be a jobber. Yeah.
And then it's a Tony pick.
What's your pick?
Oh God, can I choose Percy Watson as a wrestler? God,
technically, you never wrestled on the NXT show past the Rival, so no.
Yeah, well, didn't Alex Riley? Not that he's any better, actually. Fuck.
Yeah. I kind of like. I kind of. My better judgment said he's probably better off in the other side of things.
Riddick Moss. Riddick Moss is who I'm choosing.
Good old Madcap.
He does have a couple good jokes once in a while.
I might as well round off Hit Row.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I'm taking B-Fab, yeah, because I feel like you guys aren't going to take her in the next couple of rounds. So
yeah, there's unless
there's no incentive.
yeah.
Unless it's like her and two other people that I'm dreadfully avoiding.
Yeah. I'm gonna. This one's problematic on an NXT standpoint, but he's a good wrestler. Give me Jordan Miles.
Yeah. I couldn't yada yada him, but like.
Safer pick than some other people.
I don't think he's really problematic. He's problematic for NXT.
Yeah.
You got Leo, right? So you've got that. They might, just have a bad day and need to take 2 months off.
That's fine. That's why I have a roster.
That is true.
Alright, Rob.
Now we're in the dregs.
Now we're in the. How
many picks are left? There's about 30.
Leon Ruff Ruff is left. I'm Leon Ruff.
He's a good wrestler.
He was a great 1-2-3 kid character.
Okay.
Do you think that there's a potential? No, never mind. I'll save that for a later discussion.
I'll go Sawyer Fulton.
Thinking that into
Sanity.
Yeah.
And
he's the S in Sanity, is he not?
Andre Chase.
That's 2 for my E tier taken, so thank you for that.
We are really in the dregs. Give me Zeta Ramir.
Oh, fuck, I was going to take it next time. We're at this stage. Give me Aaliyah.
Oh, yeah. Got it done.
Now give me Mojo as well.
Yeah. That's kind of my next pick.
Give me Sabatelli.
Yeah, it's good. Good body at the very least.
Sabatelli.
And you have Moss as well, yeah. So.
I was hoping I could get Mojo, because then I've got Mojo and Ryder if I needed to.
Lame.
Mojo was the highest ranked guy I had left, so I thought I might as well start picking them. That's basically my attitude now.
I'll take Ike Manjiro.
Alright.
I know Jack in time for this draft.
And
I will go and do Cher.
That was my lowest ranked tag team on the entire thing.
yeah,
Veer's coming
right
though.
tag team.
Yeah, there's worse. Well, there's worse to come in overall.
Speaking of low ranked tag teams, I'll go Forgotten Sons.
Yada yada.
No, because it doesn't have to be the third guy, right?
It does have to be the third guy.
Oh, fuck. Yada yada, 1/3.
Take Adam Rose.
I thought you might.
And Santana Garrett.
Gonna run back that 10-hour match?
It must be. They did that on Dark at one point, I think, as well. It was much better. Still not good, but better.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I know, it's hard now.
Robert Stone.
Damn. When you get down to this, and then it's being like, oh man, I wanted Robert Stone.
For the record, of the men that are left, 4 of them have complaints? Or 3?
That's a good number, yeah.
Way too many.
Alright,
It's like they're in the wrestling business or something.
I'll go Kona Reeves and Boa.
You're mating, makes sense. And Ziley actually as well. So.
You could
do.
I'm gonna go Abby Lath.
Who was Abby Leave?
Kimberly.
Yeah, Kimberly.
Who's Kimberly?
She's in Impact now.
She's in it. Yeah.
Name on the indie.
Yeah, she
Blonde
was
girl,
in
right?
the Mae Young. Yeah, she was in the
Okay.
Mae Young Classic. I think she got knocked out first round of the one that she was in.
Slim picking.
Yeah. I'll take the Legionnaires.
Nice.
That's Marcus Louis and Sylvester LaFour, right?
Yeah. And I'll also take Jesse Kamea.
Yeah. I have Bailey. I don't need Jesse.
I will take Joe Gacy.
Yeah, I thought he was next.
Yeah, I mean, look at these names.
Casey over there. Alright, shit. she's just in that class of nobodies. But Vanessa Bourne,
what it is.
Yeah.
You're avoiding things.
We're all avoiding things right now.
You know who I'm not avoiding? Eva Marie.
You actually do Eva Marie.
See, I told you to get him Eva Marie.
That's the first from my F tier that I was absolutely not going to touch unless I needed to.
It was time, pal, because you guys have 2 picks.
Well, one of mine's going to be Paul Dempsey.
Fuck.
There's a yada problematic, but a small yada problematic compared to some of the names that are left on this list.
Oh, really? He had some?
Yeah. He had something when the whole wrestling world had something last year. He's one of the names.
Well, I've got the rest of Hit Row, so B-Fab makes sense for me.
Yeah, that's good. That's a safe pick.
Sheesh. I'm gonna go ahead and say
B-Fab.
Elektra Lopez.
Taking her from Legato.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking Tony had it because he had all of the members
of
Legato. He had that and Zion Quinn.
Yeah.
I do not care.
No, that's fair.
Let's go.
Ahead.
Denzel Deschanel.
Yeah, that was right.
Really?
Let's see. Denzel.
Well, you know who we're dancing around now.
And Cesar Benoni.
I was gonna get him next
because he's a future breakout star.
Oh god.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say Valentina Feroce and have fun, guys.
Well, here's the thing. Give me Katrina Cortez.
Damn it! I wanted Tony to end up in there. Or as funny as him ending up with one of the problematic people.
Listen, we got 3 problematic people left,
and they're the only ones left.
And so I have to pick the best of the breed, and so give me Velveteen Dream.
Absolutely, I understand 100%.
And obviously not the best in terms of the problematic side of things, but the best wrestler out of the 3. And so, Robbie, you get to decide who Tony gets left with.
Oh, Jesus.
God damn it.
You know what? In this case, I'm going to say that, by the way, for those who may or may not be seeing the list, the 2 people left are Lars Sullivan and Brodus Clay. I'm going to comfortably say Lars Sullivan.
He's the better worker.
Because Lars Sullivan has made some mistakes, but they largely have to do with the fact that maybe he's a little weird socially. Brodus Clay is actively on Fox News every day.
My bad.
Yeah, it got a little bit hard towards the end, but that's kind of the way that all these drafts work, really.
Alright, well that's our draft.
Yeah, let's have a look at these. Rob's really stacked his women's division.
Damn right, I told you I would.
I have the weakest women's division as far as pure numbers go. Well, actually, I might not, because I've got two teams.
Yeah, I got 2 in
there.
Yeah, so 2 of them are a bit more. So yeah, and I've got actually I'm the only one that doesn't have a tag team on my list. But
yes, Rob's got the least amount of actual tag teams.
Yeah, you can work out a few additional ones from his list, but
yeah, like Storm and Rude.
Like Beer Money.
And you've obviously got the Undisputed Era, so we know who your tag champs are.
We know who all your champs are.
Wow. I mean, if it ain't broke.
That's actually quite a shame I took Ty Conti from you in that regard.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like I kind of missed because I went for Sasha early. I kind of missed out on the top men's names. I would have loved to have had a Kevin Owens or a Samoa Joe. Like one of those 2 would have worked out.
You got Riddle as like your go-to kind of thing. Walter's most likely your champion.
Yeah, Walter and Sami Zayn would be a big thing that I'd build towards.
Yeah. Yeah, Black, he like, babyface or heel. Rusev.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not upset by who I did end up getting, but I like top end women. So Sasha, Charlotte, Io, and Becky. That's pretty good, solid one to have.
Is this the first draft I don't end up with someone like a Charlotte? I usually get Charlotte.
I know. It's really odd for me to pick Charlotte. She's like one of the ones that I don't think I've ever picked for a draft before.
Actually, overall, I think I might like my roster the best. usually I go like, I like this part better on yours and this part better on yours. I really like your top 10 men side.
I like your men's division, yeah.
Like Gargano, Owens, Lee, Ciampa, Dijakovic, Priest, Escobar, Andrade. Probably had Cross and Corbin and Austin Theory eventually over time, and even LA Knight and Austin Aries and Bo Dallas. God almighty, yeah, you could have literally all those people be potential world champions.
Even Zack Ryder, if you wanted to try to make him seem like a bigger deal.
Yeah, I think you've definitely got a very strong men's side. I'm quite happy with my tag teams. I feel like I've got the strongest tag team side.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm the weakest at.
And Rob's, just by pure numbers, has got a really strong women's division.
You know,
I don't hate my women's division though. I'll tell you that.
No, I don't hate mine either.
This experiment is like really showing the different strengths at different times in NXT. Because when you separate like Cole and Gargano and those names, the men's division can be not as heavy as you would think. Because you got like a few standouts, but it's not the strength of when they're all together.
Think about it this way too. If you just ignored behind the scenes stuff, Velveteen Dream would have been way higher up on that list.
I mean, like there's a time where Velveteen Dream is probably picked where I picked Nakamura or where Callum picked Aleister Black.
But I would have probably picked him over Dijakovic.
I mean, you go back to the 2019 WWE roster draft that we did back then before all this stuff started. Velveteen Dream was my 5th overall pick. So that's just amazing how a year then changes. Like literally, it was only a couple of months after that when all this shit came out. It's just like, that's gonna reflect badly on me at some point.
When we did the tier list, because I remember we were going through people like Ligero and all that, and I'm like, the next week all that stuff came out, and it was just like, half these people are trash now, at least for the UK side of things.
So since this is a dark cast, normally we would be doing all these like promotional things and stuff, but instead we didn't plan on doing this ahead of time, and we're not going to do it right this second or whatever, but I think we are still going to follow this up with another dark cast of a card that we can figure out.
Yeah, our ultimate takeovers based on the cards we have.
Yeah, so we'll have another one of those. Well, I don't know when we're going to get a chance to record that, but we'll at least spend a couple of days.
Next month's one.
Maybe, yeah. We're definitely going to come revisit this down the line.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like it's worth doing it, and it's always good to talk about the old NXT when it was.
Yeah.
And I think we need to credit Callum because he
put in the work to do all this.
Yeah.
Well, I just enjoy doing it. Like these the drafts are like my bread and butter with this sort of these podcasts now. So it's really getting me something to focus in on.
I think the funny thing is, like, I came up with the first one, didn't I? Well, I came up with the 95 one. Is that the first one we did?
First one we did was just the big roster at the time. But then I think you guys then paired off into your 95 and 96 ones.
Yeah, I mean,
around there, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just something that I like us doing because they're just fun little discussions. We get a little bit competitive, but still have still mostly just shoot the shit and just have fun. And yeah, we add those to the fact that we've got these giant authority, we've got all these people, the authority figures and the commentary. It's basically like, hey, we managed to come up with like 3 decent rosters of all of NXT have had over the past. What is it? Like, would have been about like 7 or 8 years. So NXT Arrival was 2014, and then NXT 2.0 started in 21. So yeah, it's like 7 years worth of people in between all 3 of our rosters. How many people is it? It's about like 200 odd people. NXT saw quite a lot of people at this point, so yeah. It also goes to show, like, I was kind of thinking if we would do one in the future as well. Like, I was just flicking through Fightful, Fightful's website and stuff like that, and they have that list of free agents right now, and just feel like, obviously, Tony would have no idea who any of those people are, but that's like that.
Not always. Like, some names.
Some of them would have been in WWE. Yeah, some of them would have been released by WWE at some point. But well, that's quite an interesting. That's like, because I almost thought because I've always been talking recently about how I'm so desperate for a another promotions pop up that can rival AEW and WWE. Just sign all of those people that have been released recently. Just
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but yeah, there's plenty. The great thing I like about the drafts is that there's just plenty of stuff that we can eventually come around to. And yeah, I think there's another good example of it.
I do want to do a draft at some point of people that are just animal based. So we have like George the Animal Steel, and we've got Bearcat, Keith Lee.
What about the Brahma Bull, Tony? That was always a
Like, I don't know exactly what the rules would be when it came to that, but like the British Bulldog, need to be on the list. So like, these types of themes, definitely want to try to get some of those going. And
definitely.
I think it'd be kind of interesting if we tried to do something that was based off of like I don't know, even something like you can only pick people that have 3 names, like Andrade Cien Almas, Bad News Barrett, that kind of thing. So you couldn't do like.
I love how much we stretch these draft concepts.
Or you could do just 1-word names. So you could do Enzo. You could do, because he was just Enzo for a little bit, right? Or was he always Enzo Amore?
I think he's kind of always Enzo Amore.
I don't remember if he was on Raw. So it was just Enzo and Cass.
You'd have people like Tajiri or.
Right, you'd have Emma, you'd have Elias.
Neville. Yeah, there'd be a lot of women in that one because a lot of the women in one now.
So I think that'd be kind of like just like the Madonna type thing,
Yeah, that'd be cool for like little gimmick ones. Like I thought like some of those little gimmick ones, but also ones like it's the list of all the Intercontinental Champions in history and stuff like that. Because I'm sure there's plenty of those do that, or you can only pick people that were like do like an old like a '98 WCW one or something like that. It's like when WCW was like at the peak of wrestling, just pick from. They had like 300 people under contract at that point in time, so there's like probably tons of people to pick from that. So yeah, what we're basically saying for people listening, both on the Darkcast and on the main show, there's going to be like a consistent flow of these coming over the next year or so, at the very least.
We got a lot of ideas that we've already thought of, and a lot more that we're going to be thinking about.
Yeah, I think there'll be at least we'll do at least probably 5 or 6 more of these by the end of the year.
Yeah,
if not more.
Maybe not necessarily once a month, but maybe like once every other month at the very least.
Yeah, because we like doing them, whether it's just a Darkcast or whether it's something that we can do quite thematically. Like, I mean, WrestleMania's coming up. I'm sure we could do something built around WrestleMania for this. But I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be the most fun job in the world, and it would take a while to build up. But I'm pretty sure I could create a draft of basically anyone that's appeared in a singles match in WrestleMania or something like that.
It's pretty into those like
that's what I really need to avoid.
Back in time type things,
Yeah, that's what I really need to avoid. Something that will be the thing that I do, just randomly.
I guess what we're all hoping for here is that you keep procrastinating and like. Not that we don't want you to grow, but we just fuck it. This is more fun.
This is way more fun than doing my taxes or something.
Yeah, fuck taxes.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you for being on the Patreon or the YouTube members only tiers to get access to these. Thank you for your support. Thanks for whatever comments you leave, unless it's like, hey, fuck you guys, then fuck you too. No, but I highly doubt you're gonna do that.
Money.
Yeah, highly doubt you're gonna be in that kind of thing. But we were thinking about making this just a regular one, and then we figured let's do something special like this for the Darkcast instead. Because instead of the Darkcast just being like just the goof around stuff, let's give like the more how would WWE refer to it, a premium live thing. This is a premium podcast.
Something with a bit more focus and purpose to it.
Right, a little less of just kind of let's shoot the shit for a little while. But we might have another one of those. I don't know. It depends on timing and everything, and maybe we have another follow-up with the Royal Rumble in some fashion. Maybe we go ahead and we do the Darkcast here follow-up of this month even. Maybe we just, next week we end up really being like, you know what, we figured out our whole list, let's just do it, kind of thing. Or maybe we wait until the beginning of next month or something. I don't know. You'll see. It'll pop up.
The point is, if we keep just wanting to avoid things and have a good time, this is where we're going to be.
That's pretty much it. So thank you, of course. Thank you for listening. Tell us what you think this all worked out to be. Who's got the best rosters? I always want to see, like, all right, this person thinks that this person's got the best tag division, the best women, the best men, the best overall, that kind of thing. Let us know. And tell us if you have any preference what the next one might be. And we're not plugging stuff. You know how everything goes. So I guess we'll see you next time. Anything anything... I can't think of the word. I'm blanking on this. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Anything else to say? No, Tony.
Else. Yeah.
Yes.
Else is the word.
Else is the word, Tony. Thank you.
Anything else left to say? That's what it was.
No, just pretty much summed up.
What did you get a degree in?
Education. Yeah, just thanks everyone for listening, and hope you're enjoying this, and we'll be back with our all-time takeover card soon.
Yep. See you, everybody. Adios. This has been another Smarkout moment, and we're being counted out. What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another another Darkcast. I'm not re-recording that because it's a Darkcast, and you get to hear that kind of shit. What's up? I'm Tony. You know me. You know Rob. You know Callum. We're all hanging out here. It's 1:45 in the afternoon on the 29th. We didn't really have too much of a game plan here, but last night when we were doing the rest of the other parts of the end of the year awards, we were like, how about a Darkcast, Mark? Because I didn't do one yet. Hey, what are you guys up to?
Hey. Nothing. Yeah, nothing too much. Just sitting there, relaxing, ready to talk some shit.
And as always, I'm just working, but I'm going to talk to you guys because you guys keep me balanced.
We were before we got started recording, we were talking about the food that we have been eating because there's always snack talk time and all that. And we've had some varieties. Callum sounds the best out of all of it, I think. With his sausage and chips.
Most comprehensive. Yeah, most comprehensive. It's even less better than just a sandwich.
I threw peanut butter on 2 slices of bread, and then I ate some Tostitos to go with it, which does not work well together.
No, it doesn't. What's wrong with you?
It's the only chips I had.
You live in New York. There's probably like a store right on the corner.
Yeah, but then you gotta go there. Yeah. And like... everything's so goddamn expensive. It's been...
living in Florida, I'd kill for that.
I cannot find proper jars of peanut butter here. Like,
what do you mean?
The Whole Foods and Trader Joe's types, they don't have regular peanut butter. They have, like, organic whatever, where it's, like, separated and stuff. Like, the only place we've been able to find peanut butter so far that's just, like, normal, like, Jif or Skippy or whatever the hell has been, like, Walgreens. That, of course, is like, $6 for a jar of peanut butter, and it's like, man, need a Walmart.
You're also living in the city. So it's like, yeah, fuck your Walmart peanut butter. As you're living in New York City, you'll get something, fancy.
I don't need fancy peanut butter. What am I, making it?
Well, they say in New York, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. So go ahead and make it.
It's true.
That's the kind of good stuff you get in the Darkcast.
Yeah, you just get us bullshitting around a little bit. I think we only had one idea of like what we would actually do wrestling related for this. We were trying to figure out something to do that could have been like based off of the holidays. And every idea that we were thinking of, I kind of shot down because I was like, maybe that'd be better for like just a regular episode down the line. Like we were thinking about maybe watching something like Santa's Sleigh or Santa with Muscles or doing some kind of like watch along of New Year's Revolution or whatever, and I'm like, if we did that on the Darkcast, I think that's kind of missing the opportunity to get some more clicks on some other things, and people might be all pissed because they clicked on it, and it's like, well, like that's the Darkcast here, and it's like, well, that's kind of the point. But you guys like when we bullshit. We were saying in the feedback thing that you wanted us to just be ourselves a little bit more. So we figured, hey, let's do that. But we did have one idea in mind, which was to talk about some predictions for heel and face turns, because that is a thing. So, if anybody on the heel and face turn side of things, I could just be like, well, if you want to know our thoughts, go to the Darkcast, I spent all last night not dying from choking, but from setting up all the goddamn beginning of the year posts. So you got, the predictions and the results for Money in the Bank and SummerSlam and Survivor Series and this and this and this and this, and then the roster list for AEW, the roster list for WWE, the tag team list for both, all that crap. I currently have 59 drafts on the site right now that are going to be published. All but 4 of them, I think, are those types of posts, and one of them being I start my whole predictions of heel and face turns and stuff, and I'm looking through the roster earlier and trying to figure that out, and I'm like, I think this might be one of the longest lists of potential heel and face turns that I've got down in quite a while. I've got a lot written down that I think are going to be turning. I don't know, something around maybe 23 or so. Usually I put around 10, but anybody standing out to you guys about people that could potentially be turning in 2022?
Randy Orton is the one that immediately springs to mind.
He was a guarantee.
Yeah, that's a given. Yeah. It would be weird if Riddle turned on him though.
No, that's the thing they could do that takes it in a slightly more interesting direction. I don't think they're going to do it just to feel like Riddle's over as a babyface, so I don't feel like they'd want to change that. But then again, Orton is over as a babyface, and Orton... There is something to be said that Orton at this point really shouldn't be turning heel anymore, because he's just too much of a legend to really carry it off enough anymore. He's just organically over because everyone just wants to turn up and just see an RKO and be happy about it, rather than booing him, or him to just be sitting in a match for 20 minutes putting a rest hold on.
Yeah, he's on the list.
I think I can see Edge turning in 2022.
I don't have him down, but I thought about it, because I do think that if they're going to do Edge versus, say, Kevin Owens is the heel for it. But with AJ Styles turning babyface, and we know that Edge wants to fight Styles at some point, I guess Edge kind of has to turn if they did that, right? Or they just turned AJ back again.
Well, I think it's slightly different with Edge to Orton, is that even though he does have the legendary status, it's just a case of he's someone who has always worked better as a heel anyway. But the vast majority of the best parts of his career was when he was a heel. And I kind of feel like you can only really run he's back, and we have to be really grateful about the fact that he is back in wrestling again. It just won't cut it forever. So eventually he's going to have to turn heel, and he's going to have to, at least some of the people that he'll probably want to face before he bows out once and for all will be on the babyface dynamic.
Well, who were some of the other ones that he had said that he wanted to have something with? He had said Rollins, Roman, Daniel Bryan. So they got that out of the way. He definitely said Owens. He definitely said Styles. I think he had said Balor. So he would be probably a better heel to go up against Balor. Is there anybody else that he had specifically put out there? Maybe Gargano, who at this point you can't.
I'm pretty sure he wanted to do something with there.
Well, he is coming.
They did the Seth Veer thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're just hey, that Hook guy. That.
Yeah. I appreciate their Twitter account having a sense of humour. I can't think of anyone in particular that stands out on either main roster that realistically Edge would be clamouring to have a match with. I'm sure he's interested in some of them, but the ones that you probably already mentioned, the ones that probably stand out most to him, he probably would want to have a match with Big E.
He did say most recently when he came back before he started this feud with The Miz.
Yeah. I'm sure McIntyre would probably cross his mind as well.
Yeah, I think he might have mentioned McIntyre for sure.
Sami Zayn maybe.
I'd say 2020, I still think even though I love Bobby Lashley, that if you were going to do Edge at WrestleMania, you should have just fought McIntyre, beat McIntyre. You weren't going to have McIntyre win. There was an emotional story there with Edge being 10 years to the day that he gave up the belt. They should have just went with Edge beating McIntyre.
Maybe Damian Priest against Edge? Because he did kind of endorse him for that.
Yeah, but I think Priest is turning. Well, Priest will turn heel, I think.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Time to back on topic.
He's on my heel turn list.
Yeah, I just don't feel they'll run out of steam with him the babyface thing, because they just can't do babyfaces for long enough. Styles is obviously turning babyface. Omos will stay as a heel.
That's not how they originally pitched it, right? Like when they first turned, it didn't seem like it was going to be that way. It seemed like AJ was turning, but I think it works better this way.
I don't know how they thought that people would side with Omos over AJ Styles in this feud.
Especially because it's like, Omos is the bigger guy. So, if you were to have him be like the underdog, I don't care how much experience AJ Styles has, he should be swatting him out of the air like a fly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That feud, it might already be over according to some things. There was a report somewhere, I forget exactly where, it might have been Torch or something, that they had like a house show match that was absolute trash.
Well, that's not fair. That's not fair. I mean, of course it was trash. The guy hasn't wrestled in a singles match.
We have had a few singles matches, but they've all been pretty much bad. The only half decent ones he's had has been with Riddle, and that's because Riddle was willing to just like throw himself to the walls constantly for these things. Like this guy, this guy can't wrestle, so he's there as a gimmick, and realistically, the best option for him is to have this feud with Styles, and then get paired up with someone else who will actually have the good matches with Styles. Well, Austin Theory or something.
Or Grayson Waller, which is where I really think they're going.
It's so weird that that's the case. It's like, let's split up Omos and AJ Styles so that Styles can feud with Grayson Waller from NXT. What?
Oh, they're clearly doing the ECW pattern now, where it's like, please watch this show. Main roster people are on it.
Well, New Year's Evil at this point, you know.
2 of the advertised segments include main roster people.
And one of them's not even a match. It's just Styles is going to confront Grayson Waller. So it's a promo.
I love those advertisements of confronting.
I think it'll turn into a match.
Well, they got like a couple of matches already, so I'm kind of thinking that they're gonna be running short on time for another match. Because you got the 6-man tag with Walter. You got the triple threat for the women's title. You got the Breaker and Ciampa. That's gonna be probably take a while. I think that they're going to kind of try to be like, you know what? Well, we could do that Paige and Bryan type of thing. I don't think they're going to give them an hour, but I think they're going to give them like a solid half hour plus. And then,
I don't see any more than 5 matches. I don't see any more than 5 matches on that show. And I think the Styles and Waller thing might be one of the matches that take place.
Is Loomis out for like a COVID thing? Anybody know?
No clue.
Yeah, it's hard to tell at this point. I mean, it's hard for them to tell because they don't test anymore.
It's true. But I kind of think that maybe they'll have something where it's like Styles will do this promo, and then he'll be like, you know, I got a friend here who's going to fight you, and then Loomis comes out and does that. Because they didn't do the match. This week was all like, NXT was, none of the matches were the actual matches they advertised.
It's just the way things are currently going through this the outbreak that they've suffered. But yeah, if you got the matches we already mentioned, we got the title unification match. The Cruiserweight title is going away now, so that's something.
Yeah, have they confirmed that now?
Well, it's title unification match, and the winner will be crowned the unified North American champion. So that means Cruiserweight title is dead now. Will be dead as of next week.
On the one hand, yay, right? Like they weren't doing anything with it. But on the other hand, it's like they just had so many plans for it. It just seems like this is a year where we don't care about your plans. we'll scrap everything if need be. Let's just do whatever we have to do.
I mean, it was pretty obvious that this was going to be going down. And, you know, the whole real question is, what do they rename 205 Live to? Or do they go even lazier and they just go, well, it's still 205 Live and it doesn't matter and fuck you for watching it, you know?
No, they're going to change the name.
Well, it depends on the Hulu thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't even see why they don't need to change the name, because...
They should.
Well, because basically anyone that wrestles on that show anyway is under £205. Well, actually not all of them are anymore. But it's just a case
Jones, you know, like...
Yeah, no, but it's just... If they weren't going to change it when they started doing that, then what's the point in them changing it after it?
Right.
It doesn't necessitate them needing a champion.
Well, it's not like it would matter to the point where it's a huge set overhaul. It's just make a new logo and slap that logo everywhere.
I mean, that's the type of thing that you would think would be a no-brainer, that they would just go, all right, let's just take, like, I don't know, 25 minutes, make a little graphic that's the NXT logo with the word Evolve next to it, put that on there.
Or Velocity, or I don't really care if you call it Next in Line, you know, like, just something else.
WBU presents something else. Down South Select. Just gonna...
But still, like, massive congratulations to the 17 men that managed to hold the Cruiserweight title. I wonder if, does Kamala Hayes get to be, well, if and when he wins that match, will he get to be classified as the final Cruiserweight champion, or is Roderick Strong the final Cruiserweight champion?
I think that they actually technically say that he would be the final one.
Right.
Hayes would probably be the final one.
Yeah, because he'll probably lift both titles at the end of it, and I guess that somewhat classifies it.
Right. Because didn't they, like, even for something like, for instance, what was it, RVD unified the Hardcore in the Intercontinental or something? Wasn't it?
He unified, like, literally everything, didn't he?
He unified Hardcore in the Intercontinental, and he also unified the European and Intercontinental Championships as well.
Right. And then Jericho beat him, and then Kane beat Jericho. And then Triple H unified the world and the Intercontinental for a brief period of time where they got it in their heads that they just wanted one singles title and one tag title.
That's such a dumb idea. I'm looking at the list of the European champions right now, and it does have RVD, at least on Wiki.
Yeah, like Triple H is seen as a 5-time Intercontinental champion, I believe, with the 5th time being that he beat Kane, even though he never touches that belt at No Mercy 2002. And if you want more of that, go check out the podcast account that I did.
How many times has the Intercontinental title been unified?
I think just the one.
Is that one time?
Like, yeah, because they made it go away, and then they brought it back, like,
it was
7-8 months later.
Judgment Day 2003, they brought it back, yeah.
So October to May, whatever that is.
About 7 months, about 7 months.
And they were like, hey, that was stupid, we're sorry. Here's your Intercontinental title.
Yeah, and then a month later they introduced the United States Championship back as a SmackDown exclusive. So they basically went from, at the end of 2002, say, yeah, we don't need mid-card championships anymore, to then having double the amount of mid-card championships that they had on that date a couple of months later. That's how quickly things changed in the early 2000s.
So there was
it changed for the better. Like,
I'm looking at the list now. It was vacated 11 times.
How many of those were Sean?
I think just the one for Sean. Sean only held the European title once, didn't he? So, Intercontinental title, he still went the Intercontinental, then that's
Intercontinental title, I think he forfeited
yeah, just the once thing. Yeah, I think it's just the once.
Twice? Didn't he vacate it the first time? When Razor wins it and they do the ladder match?
Oh, yeah, I guess that counts.
He only loses it actually once.
All things considered, all these title vacations for the Intercontinental title, there hasn't been too many in a long while. There was one in May of last year, but then you got like 2014 and 2015, but you go back to 2002, 2004, most of them are that 90 to 98 range.
Well, yeah, because back then they took that, like, 30-day shit way seriously. Where I think, like, Edge was literally out for, like, a month. But they had him vacate the title. I don't think you're ever going to see that again. Because I think with Lesnar and with the way that they treat the titles now, you don't need to. If you said 30 days and you can't defend it, so we're stripping you, people would be like, that's bullshit. You go like 4 months without having a single title defense.
Yeah, we talked about it already. That Nakamura's not defended the title. He's only defended the title once in his entire reign. So, they clearly don't give too much care. As long as someone's holding the title, unless they absolutely need to vacate it, then they're not going to do anything about it. I was actually checking through the list of cruiserweight champions. There's actually been, if Carmelo Hayes actually won the title, there would have been more people that won the cruiserweight title under this current iteration than there were in the WWE iteration, the previous WWE iteration of the title.
Really?
Yeah, 17 different people held the WWE Cruiserweight Championship from 2001 to 2007, and Carmelo Hayes won it, who would be the 18th person to hold it from the current one. So, that would have been more title holders, even though it would have been around for a lot less time.
So, if you guys think about this version of the Cruiserweight Championship, who comes to your mind?
Neville. Neville was the best champion of this Cruiserweight era.
Hard to argue with that.
Honestly, Brian Kendrick, and I don't know what that says because he was like the first one, was he?
He's won the alarm's going off. But he was the first one to win the championship after TJP had won the tournament.
We have TJP, Kendrick, Rich Swann, Neville. Did Neville hold it the longest? Or no? Probably at this point now.
Now it's a mixture of both Devlin and Santos Escobar, but they kind of held it at the same time, so...
Yeah, Devlin had it longer than that. Devlin said 4:38. Escobar said 3:13.
Yeah. You got, look at all these people. Enzo, I guess, is somewhat memorable because the fact that he wasn't a classic cruiserweight style wrestler. Then you had Cedric Alexander. Everyone really wanted Cedric to win it, and Cedric held it, and he didn't do anything with that championship. Then Buddy Murphy won it, and everyone was excited about that because they won it in Australia, and then he did absolutely nothing with the championship, and Tony Nese did absolutely nothing with it, and Drew Gulak did absolutely nothing with it.
That was firmly in that era where they were just like, we don't give a shit anymore. Once the Enzo thing stopped, they really stopped caring.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of nothing, really. So yeah, I'd say Neville's the only one that's really held it of any real esteem. Maybe make a case for Escobar, but I don't think it was super necessary for him to have the Cruiserweight Championship.
I mean, he was the best option at the time, but I don't think people are going to really go back and be like, oh man, this legendary reign or anything. Like, Kushida held it for 160 days. What did he do with it too?
Yeah, it was a failed experiment. Let's put it that way.
It's beginning to seem like a lot of Triple H led experiments for failed experiments, which I hate because it's not even like they were bad.
Yeah, I don't think that they failed. I think that they weren't allowed to succeed in some ways. Some of them were clear failures, like Sin Cara failed, but when WWE, according to Karrion Kross's recent interview, he basically said that they looked at that as being well, that doesn't count, which is confirmation of what we kind of assumed over these years.
Which one of the things that you just consistently see people talk about is the fact that everyone that's been released, especially recently, absolutely loved working with Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
And they have very little positive to seem to say about the company beyond that point. But, oh yeah, I love my time in NXT. Triple H and Shawn, I learned so much from them and really had a good time working under them. And they'll just sometimes cursory say thank you to Vince and WWE, but it's kind of just more of a courtesy, it seems, than actually thanking them.
I really think we're in an era where we're going to look back on this even more so now than we already do, and we're just going to be like, there's a parallel universe where this all worked out so much better.
Yeah, I think the creation of AEW is definitely the death of the Triple H NXT, because AEW took what he was doing. Not saying they literally, ripped him off, but they took that idea and they made it its own thing. And then there was like no reason to support NXT to most people, because now you could acknowledge again that, hey, that's under the evil empire. Now we can just go and support this new thing.
For the most part, a lot of IP, whether it's pro wrestling stuff like this or just like franchises in general, they seem to be really struggling right now, where they're like, they don't know where they want to go, they don't know which type of fans they want to support. The fans are kind of just like, I like the things I like, give me that. And then people are like, yeah, but let's overcomplicate it. And, like, even like, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but like Star Wars, like, what is Star Wars now?
Much like WWE, it's this thing that was cool, right? That it seems like you're happy to be a part of because you're a part of this thing that was cool, even though you're like, it's not anymore.
It really gives me the same sort of feelings of like, the person in charge of the main thing has no idea what they're doing, but this other person, who is like second in command, they've got their head on straight. And if only they were the ones in charge, it would be all you're fine and dandy like sour candy. Because it's like Triple H, okay, we all agree, like, even though NXT has had its flaws, NXT Black and Gold, pretty much the best thing that's happened out of WWE for years.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Filoni and, like, The Mandalorian, that's Star Wars to a lot of people, like myself and everybody else. And then you get Kathleen Kennedy over there with like The Last Jedi and shit, and it's just a complete fucking mess. So it's like you got the Kathleen Kennedys and the Vince McMahons out there that are like controlling the main thing and fucking it all up, and then you got the other people like the Filonis and Triple H's who are like, I'm a fan of this and let's do what the fans like, and everybody's like, yeah, it's as simple as that.
So I was on this thing called the Hot Tag. It was like a roundtable discussion, and one of the questions was, should Vince step down? And I said, no, because, Vince is like one of the last ties to actual wrestling. And I think that means that if you lose Vince, you lose another guy who actually understood professional wrestling. You can say that if you wanted, though. Oh, well, he made it sports entertainment. But, like, yeah, that was a trick that he used to con the advertisers. That it's not wrestling, but he still understood that it was wrestling. People have grown up now believing, oh, no, it's sports entertainment. And you see, I'm writing an entertainment program. And if you lose Vince, you probably just dive deeper into that hole, unless Hunter and Sean are the ones that take over.
Right.
And they probably won't be.
Well, they should.
Well, that's exactly why they won't be.
Yeah, it'll probably be a board of stiffs that are just sort of like, well, let's crunch the numbers, and we think that this character would work better if they also had some kind of promotional tie-in with KFC, and that'll give us an extra couple $1,000 worth of those things.
Is the board of stiffs as stiff as the board?
Maybe.
I don't know who would end up taking over, regardless, and I don't. I don't know. It's hard to predict at this point. I don't think it's definitely not clear cut that it's Triple H now, but it used to be. It used to be like a dead certainty. I think that they probably would have sold as soon as Vince goes. However Vince goes, I think that'll be like the catalyst to, like, within a year they'll have been sold to someone else. So whoever is in charge will just be a temporary measure, and then it'll be whoever's the one who decides to buy the company will be their decision.
Well, I keep harping on this whole, I think that they're selling things. I think that we're going to get some random ass announcement in 2022 that it's just going to be like how the Peacock thing happened, where was it January or was it like?
We just woke up one day. It was like in either late December or early January. Right. And it was just like, hey, we're moving all of our shit to Peacock.
Right.
You're not subscribed to the network anymore.
And like there was nothing ahead of time that they had said like, well, you know, we're technically thinking about transitioning this. It was just like these rumors that maybe they had been shopping around some ideas. And look at what's been happening now. It's been like, well, maybe they're thinking about whatever. And then they keep going, no, that's not happening. And like, you know, we've seen it a million times.
Always open for business.
Right. And
we're not selling.
We're way past the point of believing when people say, no, that's not true. Don't believe everything that you see and hear and whatever. Whether it's been in pro wrestling or in movies. I mean, just recently, what did we see with the Spider-Man stuff? You got Andrew Garfield going on, was it Jimmy Fallon, I think?
Fallon, yeah.
Where he's just like, it's a Photoshop thing, it's not me, I'm sorry to disappoint everybody. And it's like, we all know you're in it. Just like, you know, you can't say yes, but just be like, I don't know, ha ha ha, go see the movie. And then, you know, you see it and it's like, yeah, okay, so he was lying. And people do that all the time.
Perfectly. Where they were like, hey, you know,
it's Chicago.
You know what you're getting. Don't worry, you're not going to get disappointed. You know what you're getting. That's all you need to do.
And then they start off that show, and it's just, and you're like, all right, there you go. They're not even going to waste time. They're not going to bullshit. So WWE doesn't want to do that, and I do think that just out of the blue, some random day, like, you know, March 21st or something, I'm going to wake up in the middle of the afternoon probably, and I'll see a whole bunch of like chatter on multiple Facebook groups and stuff where it'll just be like, did you see that thing about WWE? And I'll get a message from you guys and it'll be like, well, I guess we should do a hot tags and stuff, and then it'll end up being Vince McMahon and WWE announces that they are in a partnership with Peacock and NBC Universal and whatever. I think it's happening this year.
I really hope not. I hope it's not NBC.
Well, I mean, who else would it be, right?
Realistically, nobody. But I'll dream and say Disney. You know, like I just like it will never happen. I'm not delusional, guys. But like it would be so great to just Disney Plus is all I need. You know.
Yeah, I mean, NBC is the obvious one. I don't think it's going to happen this year, and also it's not going to be a case of. I know what they did with the Peacock and the WWE Network was kind of out of the blue, but it's a lot harder to try and hide the fact that you're either merging or selling a company to a large organisation without it somewhere being leaked out. So I think if it is happening this year, we'll find out about it at least several weeks, if not months, before it does actually happen.
I'm trying to pay attention as much as I can to Hulu for a lot of that, because if I'm remembering correctly, and if things haven't changed since the last time that I've been doing a deep dive into it, Disney owns 2/3 of Hulu, and Comcast owns the other third. And that they've been kind of bickering back and forth because it's like Disney wants to lower the value of Hulu so that when they want to buy out that other third from Comcast, that they're like, well, it's not worth that much, you know? And they're sort of merging it together with, I think it's called Hotstar. It's like an Indian streaming service or something. And that's like Disney Plus Hotstar now, and it's a thing with like 20th Century Fox and those movies. They did some kind of thing with this Warner Media thing. I'm still confused about what the hell that is all about. But like, Warner's all, you know, fucked up in whatever ways they are. They're like split in their assets and everything. You got Paramount Plus, you got the Amazon stuff. I've said it on like the Fanboys content, but I really think that this year we're going to see a lot of like things merging, things combining, probably not in the ways that I want them to, but like I do think we're gonna see a trend towards like, all right, well, we just fucking give up on this type of service, and that's going to be packaged in with this and that kind of thing. So if Hulu is like making a change, I think that they'll drop WWE content. I don't think they're going to renew Main Event and 205 Live. Or at the very least, I would love it, because who's fucking watching it? Like, look, there's at least some people watching it, just because some people just can't get enough WWE. And, you know, if you look on, like, tweets and stuff for, like, Main Event,
there's like a handful of people that, like, really devotedly watch Main Event.
It seems like they watch basically based off of if it's the person that they want. So if it's, like, you know, a Tamina stan, then they end up being, like, super into, oh my god, Tamina's gonna wrestle, like, she's my queen, that kind of thing. But more often than not, even when, like, the spoilers are going out there and stuff, like, you search Twitter for it, nobody's talking about it. 205 Live, I've talked more to the We Are 205 Live Twitter account that's just, like, trying desperately to keep that going than anybody else regarding 205 Live. And between those things, I do think that they probably would continue, like, a 205 Live with, like, an NXT Plus type of deal. Like, if it's NXT Evolve, if it's whatever, I think you just put that on Peacock. Why not, right? And if they don't have the Hulu thing, they don't need to specifically make content to try to justify the recaps. So there goes Main Event. Because Main Event, does Main Event even air on Peacock?
Yes.
Or is it just one of those, like, it airs 4 weeks afterward? Yeah. So that doesn't count. They'll probably just stop that. And I do think that, like, when you start doing things like, okay, well, we'll do this extra show, and we'll do that more with Peacock and whatever, I think that's just kind of the default.
I like Main Event as a show. I think that they just don't care about it, so it becomes useless. Like, when Mustafa Ali was like, hey, we'll do the matches with me and Ricochet, and they were good matches. And it's like, hey, watch Main Event. We'll cut these promos ourselves and show you that this matters. It mattered. And then, you know, it stops mattering when it's Veer versus Jackson Riker, who's no longer with the company.
This week, Mark Andrews was on.
Isn't he injured?
Oh, is that the case? I don't know, apparently he was the one that was on there. At least according to people, jobbing to someone, I forget. Might have been T-Bar?
That's interesting. I don't know. There's plenty of WWE content I'd like to see go away. And plenty I'd like to see come back, like the Icons documentary series.
Still want to watch that Vladimir documentary. I was so excited to see that, because that's a story that's interesting. This dude popped up all over the place. I wanted to watch this, like, exploration of this superfan thing, because I remember that guy from when I was a kid. Like, that was like not like an Easter egg, but like a I wouldn't go so far as to say legend.
It's like, it was just like if you're a diehard fan and you know, it's Vladimir, there he goes again.
Right, like, where's that guy with the tank top that's usually in the front row kind of thing, like.
Yeah, it's like you have it a bunch now with, like, where's, you know, Frank the Clown, where's Brock Lesnar guy? How are they always in the front row of, like, every show?
And there's Simon, I think is his name, the long hair. There's the green shirt guy with the baseball cap.
Yeah, it's just great. Like, it would have been a nice documentary, and it seemed like it mattered for 5 seconds, and they just didn't do it. But that's not as weird as, get ready, Stone Cold is talking to John Cena after Hell in a Cell, and then quietly going, just kidding, it's Seth Rollins.
I think that's, there's, like, he said something in there that they don't want to be a focal point? Or do you think that that's...
No, I think that they're just like, we'll do that WrestleMania week. We'll just backlog it.
I hate that shit. But we probably are in that kind of season right now where they're probably just like, look, let's just do a bunch of shit the couple weeks leading up to Mania. Maybe that'll get some extra subscribers. Because that's going to be... How long is the deal with Peacock? 5 years?
4 years. 4 years now? Because this year's over.
I think that they have some kind of, like, early out option or something, where maybe, like, reaching that 1 year mark, they want to try to be like, you see how many people we've gotten? Like, that kind of deal?
That's so stupid. But probably.
Even when they want to. WWE would want to back out.
No, I mean, Peacock might. But I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think it's. I don't think it would be like a huge. It would be kind of a huge admission for them of going horribly wrong if they decided to renege on the contract now. They might be willing to swallow if they realise that the money they're making from it is nowhere near equating to the amount they're spending on it.
You know what? I think WWE was genuinely ahead of the game in that they had an OTT service before a lot of other people did, that they were like, yeah, we'll just go directly to our fans. And then they said, oh, you mean that we can do more than just our crummy fans, our smelly, stinky, we hate them so much fans? Like, because that's what it comes down to. They don't like their fan base.
Well, no, it wasn't so much that. I mean, they don't like their fan base. I completely agree about that. But it's the fact that the network was just a financial failure. It didn't achieve the targets they set out to achieve. They thought they would get like 5 million within the first few years of it being in existence. They never came close to touching 5 million.
But that's their fault. Because again, they overestimate.
Well, it's not the people. It's not making the thing. The idea behind it was good. They even allowed something where you got to WrestleMania just for the price of a regular subscription. They gave you way too much with the network. The network was a great thing for fans. The network was an awesome thing. The problem is that the whole rest of their product completely sucks, and that means that they weren't generating new fans, which meant that fans didn't end up wanting to buy the network because why they want to watch the current stuff anyway. That's the issue. It's the fact that their current overall trajectory creatively is a downward spiral. And so why would people actually want to pay for this sort of subscription service? Because realistically, even in the heights of WWE's like 2000 stuff like that, they would get like maybe 1.5 million people buying a pay-per-view.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they overestimate their own reach. How can you think you're going to have 5 million people subscribing to you? Do you have, 5 million people watching every week, or is it the same 2 million, 1.5 or whatever?
I guess they just thought it would, because they were trailblazers in that regard, it would bring natural growth, and the fact that they look at their Twitter numbers and their YouTube numbers and stuff like that, and it's like tens of millions, hundreds of millions of views. The reality is most of that is coming from India, and that's why they've always tried to hit with this Jinder Mahal stuff and things like that, but it doesn't work domestically. They're not a big deal domestically. Realistically, professional wrestling in general is not a big deal domestically in the US.
I mean,
the NXT account on Twitter only has 1.5 million followers. I'm gonna look at the official WWE account now. Okay, they have 11.7, but how many of those are, from out of the country?
You're talking about the idea of like them not being like more mainstream and stuff. I can tell you just the amount of times that I tell people when they ask, like, oh, what do you do or something. I'm like, oh, I got websites and I do podcasts and I do whatever. Well, what do you talk about? Mostly WWE movies and whatever. 9 times out of 10, the responses that I'll get will be one of the following: either, do you do any other sports? Because it's like they're fishing for like, can we talk about something other than WWE? And they think that naturally that I would be like, just sports guy, which is like, nope, that's not true. So they think, maybe we can talk about baseball or basketball or something. And I'll get get that response, I'll get the, oh yeah, WWE. I used to watch, Stone Cold back in the day, or like depending on how old they are, they might be like, yeah, I loved Andre the Giant or whatever. Very, very rarely is there somebody that's like, oh, I love WWE. I watch Raw every night or something. There are a couple people here and there, and those people are like rabid fans. But even they, there's a guy that's in the building here, and he is a super big fan, but he's like, oh, I don't watch NXT. And when I'm like, something about AEW, oh, I don't really watch the AEW that much. So it's like, even big fans are still just like, it's Raw and SmackDown, isn't it? Which is just like, it's crazy to me, because it's like, I don't know. It's the same kind of thing as, I'm going to shout out Wago. I'm going to throw you under the bus here. He said the other day, what other MCU movies do I have to watch for Spider-Man? I'm like, it's all of them. Watch all of them and the other Spider-Man movies. And he's like, I'm really going to watch all of them. And I'm like,
see,
come on.
Wasn't that my comment to you, though? That, like, the benefit of the old movies was you didn't have to watch everything. And even though it's cool that they reward you for watching, that's a lot to ask of people.
Yeah.
Because that's why, like, cause I stopped watching, really, Marvel movies after,
Guardians, right?
Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. And it wasn't, like, an intentional position. I just, like, got other priorities, and just, I don't really watch movies in general, just to start with. And so when I get to the point where, like, I'm actually quite interested in seeing, like, Spider-Man, because I've heard, like, I haven't, like, heard any spoilers, but I've heard, like, people talk about how good it is. But then if I get that response, I say, no, you have to kind of watch all the stuff so far. Like, if it was just, okay, watch the other previous two Spider-Man movies, I kind of, like, would just follow it down a little bit, just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, like, I hadn't seen the other two, so watch it. But it's like, oh no, he actually makes his return in Civil War, so you gotta watch that. And to really make sense of Civil War, you gotta watch the first Avengers movie, and then just all that other stuff as well. It's just like, no, I'm not going to. Like, you've lost that. You now, like, I will never get on board with the Marvel stuff, because if I have to basically get everything to actually to understand, even like really enjoy it to a good level, then it was already enough of an effort to get through all the James Bond franchise and stuff like that. And even that's a case of, okay, it's just movie to movie, and I don't really need to watch it. I just want to do it because it sounds like an interesting project. I don't want to watch all the Marvel movies. I don't want to watch any of 4. Why would I want to watch 4? Like, I don't even get why he's a Marvel superhero. It just doesn't make sense. He's a fucking Norse god.
Yeah, Thor was never my favorite. But I will give credit. Thor 1 and Thor 3, good movies.
I have no doubt they're probably good movies. They're just a case of, like...
Thor 2, not so much.
Yeah, which is that I'm realistically, just as a very, very casual Marvel fan,
right.
For me it's Spider-Man and X-Men.
Maybe Hulk.
Yeah, maybe Hulk. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not even Iron Man. I don't even really care about Iron Man. Don't care about Captain America. Don't really care about Black Widow or any of S.H.I.E.L.D. in general. Just like the only thing I really want to watch is Spider-Man. That's the only one that I'll really like go to, and maybe if they made some effort at making one decent Fantastic Four movie, then I would probably watch that as well. But they seem to be allergic to that kind of thing.
The amount of times they've done this.
I'm surprised that you don't resonate with Captain America, Cal.
Well, it's surprising.
But I mean, yeah, that's like you don't expect like WWE fans, for instance, even if they're more dedicated, to know everything about every single part of the product and all that. Like, I mean, shit. I put more effort into it than a lot of other people do. Rob puts more effort into it, just tracking things and stuff. Like, and we can't be bothered to sit there and watch all the stupid Fallout things on YouTube and all the stupid, like, it's an overload of it. But it is kind of weird to think that, like, something as big as something like NXT, the third brand, where it should be kind of required viewing, is still to a big, big portion of the more dedicated fans as, like, that doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Stupid thing that they did was making it a requirement. Like, you should have never brought it to USA. It was perfect as this niche product for the niche fan base, and then maybe they'll reward you every now and again with a call up, but you didn't need it.
It's the I think the biggest issue, the fact that, like, the reason why it's never even broached the idea of attracting people that are hardcore WWE fans is the fact that even when we talked about NXT being like the hottest thing that WWE were doing from our perspective, like people that actually watch it week in, week out and really, really enjoy it, the one thing that NXT has never ever been is cool. NXT has never been cool. It's been for nerds.
It was cool for the diehards.
Yeah, but diehards are nerds.
The diehards were never cool.
Yeah, diehard fans are not cool in any regard. Diehard Marvel fans are not cool. Marvel fans, they are the ones that they're the ones that I would like to talk to. They're the ones that I would like, if I cared about Marvel, they're the ones I want to associate with. I want to associate with, because they're the ones that are fanatical about it. And if I'm fanatical about it, then I want to talk to other fanatics. I have no pretense of thinking that if I was fanatical about NXT and I talked to someone else, I'd be enjoying myself, but I wouldn't be talking about like, wow, he must be really cool, like getting this conversation like this, like, and it's the idea that like WWE in general and AEW comes from this as well. Is the fact that it appeals to a very niche fan base, and people talk about, oh, why doesn't it ever why can it never reach back up to the heights it was during the Attitude Era? Well, the reason why the Attitude Era, and I've always talked about this, the reason why the Attitude Era got such a huge buzz is the fact is that it wasn't wrestling. It was reality TV guys as wrestling. It was fucking soap opera and like essentially the closest thing you could get in the 90s to hardcore nudity on TV.
Yeah.
It was Spring Break 24/7 on a wrestling platform. Like, people didn't watch it for matches.
No, you can't really look at the Attitude Era and say to people, all right, name the top 10 matches for that like 97 to 2000 range and not have people focus more so just screwed up my microphone. To them it's like, okay, well, let me just think about my top 10 moments. Let me think about Austin stunning someone. Let me think about Foley doing this funny skit. Like what matches? The diehards can name some matches, and we can talk about like Foley versus Triple H at Royal Rumble or something, but most people would just be like, oh, NWO was cool. Okay, well, tell me about them. There were these guys, they, for life. That's basically it.
Yeah, you can talk about, like, they're definitely, like, even though I don't really enjoy the era in general, I can still pick out, as you say, all the Triple H and Cactus Jack matches from the early 2000s, the Rock and Triple H from SummerSlam 98, the Austin Undertaker from that same pay-per-view. Yeah, there's definitely like a few standout ones, but at the end of the day, it was all about shock TV. It was in the same era as the Jerry Springer Show, and the Jerry Springer Show was even bigger than that. So it's kind of you can't ever go by having just a pure wrestling product. You're never ever going to surpass that level. And to expect it to ever do so is just completely erroneous, especially with the amount of choice that people have nowadays compared to back in the early 90s, back into the late 90s, early 2000s. Wrestling audiences will never probably exceed like 2 to 3 million on the best possible day imaginable going forward. And people have to kind of get used to that being like
the ceiling.
The ceiling. And a lot of people just can't really subscribe to that. The fact that AEW gets, on average, about somewhere between 800,000 and 1 million viewers every Wednesday, only like 2 or 3 years in, is a remarkable thing. And yet people will always just try and shit on it because it's not WWE. WWE has about a 30-year head start on them. So, of course, and as Tony has rightly said, like, there's a lot of people that just think, oh, wrestling is just Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
If people have that mindset, then it takes a long, long time for that mindset to be chipped away. But how long did it take before Raw became like a point viewing? Raw was just an experiment like Superstars. It could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, I mean the Wrestling Challenge, all the other shows they had ahead of time. Raw was just another shot.
Yeah, so we have no idea whether Dynamite will just be another shot. Dynamite might not be AEW's final form or the thing they end up being remembered for. The likelihood it will be, but it's just the way things kind of go.
It is something to look forward to. That obviously there's dynamic shifts with different things. We talk about this here and there, but if you go back in time, you talk to your younger self and you say this is how some things are. We carry around phones in our pockets and they have no antennas and they have no cords and they are basically computers. By the way, computers are that kind of thing, because computers when you're younger, at least in my age range, I grew up in that age range where we had our parents still had records and I used tapes and CDs. I remember getting my first CD, and it was the Weird Al Bad Hair Day. And I remember the second CD that I ever got was WWE The Hits or something. It was called WWE The Music, whatever it was, with Shawn Michaels on the front. And that's a time frame that's completely outdated at this point and stuff. But we don't know about the streaming stuff, how that's going to go, and we're in that range now where people are trying not to go into the natural, which is, cable companies are trying to save their asses, and they're trying to force package deals, and they're trying to bundle internet services and stuff, because they know that people aren't going to continue to do normal cable anymore. But cable is just becoming another word for packages of streaming services, and it's just going to be the exact same thing again. It's just going to be a little bit more a la carte, and then who's to say that there isn't just some sort of like an ESPN type of catch-all sports thing where they're just all right, NBC owns these blocks, and they're here is the sports block of NBC, and here is the comedy block of NBC, and here's the drama block. Buy the NBC package, and we will give you all those shows. And we end up seeing WWE isn't on the USA Network because the USA Network doesn't exist. It's on Peacock Sports. And it's just not Monday Night Raw, it's just WWE. There could be shit like that happening in 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I hope not. I've talked about this, so I won't belabor the point, but I hate the slow desecration of all the cool aesthetic things. There's no unique sets anymore. Even the logos are getting bland. It's just this is show. I miss the flair of it all.
Woo.
You want more Ricky?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You always have Charlotte. Not too much, if anything. But yeah, I think that there is a severe lack of effort, but the severe lack of effort comes from no compulsion to do so. Which is why, obviously, we talk about the fact that the last 2 years of, in general, just for the entirety of the world, sucked. But the best thing from our perspective, just as this niche of wrestling fans, is the fact that there is now competition, or there is an alternative at the very least, and that benefits fans who want to enjoy wrestling, but don't subscribe to have to go to sport, don't have to subscribe to just one way of doing it. There are multiple ways of enjoying it, and it also benefits talent. It benefits anybody. Everybody benefits from additional competition. The only thing is, this still hasn't sparked, seemingly in WWE, any real impetus to. I mean, it has inspired change. It has inspired them to try different things. It's just not necessarily the stuff that we would want to see, which is, I don't know, Raw going to 2 hours, but that's never going to happen because the financial aspect of it, the action, like as Rob says, the more unique sets and layouts, things rather than just being one homogenized screen. that's like just changes colour from red to blue every couple of days. And I don't know why they've not even considered trying those things. I guess they just don't feel like the only people that will appeal to are the people that are watching anyway. And so they just assume that, oh yeah, the only people that are really going to pat us on the back for this, people that just tune in regardless anyway. So what's the point of trying to appeal to them? We're trying to appeal to people who aren't watching.
Yeah.
And that's why you have characters like Nicky ASH.
In getting the lapsed fans back.
Yeah, they do a better job of it. But I feel like, I don't know what, WWE should try and appeal to those more. I feel like the network was their first attempt was a big attempt to try to appeal to that, because obviously you could get all the classic stuff on there for free. So, and that was probably a big reason why a lot of people stayed subscribed to it for so long, was the fact that, yeah, you get all the old classic stuff on there for the same price as you would for just watching the new stuff. But maybe they don't want to have Lats fans, or maybe Lats fans are just completely, they don't want to associate themselves or think about WWE aspects. Even if WWE got good, they wouldn't want to. They've been burned too many times by the whole WWE brand, so they can't bring themselves to trust that brand anymore. It will take a lot longer for them to agree to do it again. Whereas with AEW hasn't really burned people yet.
Yeah.
They've made some mistakes, definitely. It's not everything they've done is perfect, but they haven't had that consistent track record of disappointing you yet. If they disappoint you, it's usually rectified within a couple of weeks with something else that's come in to just like, oh yeah, I'm more excited about this again. Whereas in WWE, it's like a constant miasma that's occasionally you pique your interest with something like Kofi Mania or Becky Lynch winning the title or something like that gets you excited again. But that's like the good things are the anomalies, whereas with AEW the good things are more the norm.
I think that they really missed an opportunity with this pandemic, which they didn't know was going to happen, obviously, but with the amount during like the first, say, like 5 months of the pandemic, so many people sitting at home binge watching things. If they wouldn't have switched over to Peacock, I wonder if the network numbers would have gone up. If they would have been able to appeal to the idea of like, okay, everything is here. Because, when they start off the Peacock thing, it's like, well, we're missing a shit ton of content. And it's confusing, and you got to do the whole, like, you go to peacocktv.com, and then you go to the WWE section, and then it's like these things are in seasons instead of whatever, and like, it's just, the layout's garbage. But like, if it would have just been the WWE network, and they could have steered into the skid a little bit and been like, look, I know we're doing these warehouse shows and this sucks and whatever, but guys, remember, you can watch all this great stuff on the WWE network from the past. Don't you want to relive nostalgia? Because really, nostalgia became a big source of comfort. I wonder what things would have been different. And if they would have had, like, at least a couple months where they could have gotten some of those lapsed fans back. Because maybe you do something like, on an episode of Monday Night Raw, they do, like, okay, well, we're going to record a couple of normal matches at this warehouse type thing, but we're going to also remind you of, like, old school Degeneration X. Remember, everybody, you can check out this. They ran, like, filler. Yeah, they ran filler matches where it was like, we're just going to show you an old Royal Rumble, but they didn't really do anything with it. It wasn't like, and we've curated a list of these matches that would lead up to that Royal Rumble on the network. Go ahead and check them out.
I think, for as admirable, if you want to look at it from a business perspective, that it is that they continued and they never missed a beat, I think they dropped the ball with the COVID era, and just the lack of experimentation was really shocking. Like, you could have literally done anything and then said, and it was all a fever dream because we weren't on the road if it failed. Or you could have said, hey, this is really picking up. Let's do this. Let's, push Mustafa Ali. Let's push Ricochet. Let's, run with something crazy and they really did nothing. They acted like it was any other Monday.
The only thing that they really experimented with were the cinematic matches. And they got into a rut with that too, where they were like, alright, we did 3 things, and now we don't care. Because outside of the Boneyard match and the... God, what was the Bray Wyatt one?
Was fun.
What was Bray Wyatt one called again?
The Firefly Funhouse?
There was like that one, the Money in the Bank one, they were trying something different. It was garbage, I thought. But like they tried something different. But then they started doing shit like the Swamp Fight was garbage too, and then like
that's where we lost it. The eyeball thing,
the Street Profits thing, where they're like it's like a trash monster, and you got like Akira Tozawa with the ninjas and stuff, but it's like they got into this habit of just like, all right, it's a fight around the warehouse pre-taped thing.
Yeah, that's when Retribution comes out of the pandemic era as well. So I don't think it was a lack of experimentation. I feel like they just were their ideas fucking sucked, and that's just like it's a definitive thing. It's just the fact is they're creatively bankrupt as a company. They can't think of anything good. The best thing they've thought of in the last year is the RK Bro, which is just falling back on an old trope of the only thing they can really do in terms of tag teams is put 2 people together which shouldn't fit together and try and make them an odd couple tag team. And they've been doing that for years and years and years. You could probably stretch that back to fucking Hogan and Savage to a degree.
They got really into this idea this year of Shawn and Diesel pairings.
Yeah.
Where it was like
Dakota and Raquel.
They beat the same drum over and over again and just hope that it's a good version rather than a bad version. Because they can't think of it. They genuinely struggle to think of anything that's really new or innovative, at least from a wrestling booking perspective. They do seem to like have a bit more finger on the pulse, sometimes even quicker than they should be in terms of like actual technological innovations. Like the network was kind of ahead of its time for these types of streaming services, and their sign up with Tao is probably way too many years too early for fucking TikTok to come about, which is pretty much a similar thing. Just like they join up these things before they get actually mainstream, and then by the time they have got mainstream, they've missed the boat. They're always in this bad position.
It's true, because they did that with they had a MySpace like website called the WWE Universe back in like 08. And
when WWF.com and stuff like that, it was one of the most like forward-thinking websites of its time. When it first came out, it's just they are really, really ahead of the game when it comes to this stuff, and yet they always fuck it up.
It's almost like the answer is kind of obvious. Of like
they arrive too early. It's almost like one of those weird things where they arrive too early for their flight, and so they fall asleep for a little bit, and
right,
so by the time
and then they missed the flight.
They've missed it, so it's like, and they have to get the next one, and so it doesn't feel as good.
It's almost like the obvious answer is something that somebody could just sit down with the board of directors and just go, okay, here's a magnifying glass, and this is what it is. Vince and the people that do the business decisions like that do the business decisions. Stephanie, if you are constantly getting on these media lists of like, you know, CEOs that are influential, and you do the brand corporate speak bullshit, then go ahead and do that. Triple H, you run the creative. And then there you go. You get fans interested in watching the show. You get the technological advancements on that side. You get business decisions made by Vince, who's real cutthroat. And then you get Stephanie being like, you know, well, we're all Disney, you know.
And then there's the reality of, and I've been having this conversation a lot, the world is so niche that you might just need to let go of the idea that you'll even make a whole gaggle of new fans. You know, it'll happen slowly, and it'll happen in ways you don't expect. The bell-to-bell shows every week, even though they're getting longer, don't actually matter as much just don't do that, and they upset everybody.
Or they do that, they throw all our plans off, it doesn't go well, they scrap those plans, and then everybody goes, well, none of this mattered anyway, you just kind of were spinning your wheels, and then...
Or they'll push them in spite, just so they can get to the point where they can turn them.
Yeah.
Why don't we pivot slightly? Because obviously I know we're talking a lot about stuff that we occasionally do talk about with like WWE, and especially where it just like it devolves into why are they doing this, why are they doing that, and there's a million reasons why they aren't doing that stuff, and it's not going to change. So us just screaming into the void. So why don't we try and look a bit more optimistic and just think about what's some things that you guys would like to see happening, both for WWE, AEW, any sort of wrestling landscape next year. Lots of things that you think are realistic that you would think would be a real positive for either side.
Let me bring up the articles that I wrote, because I know I wrote these up, but I wrote them up days ago, so I'm already forgetting what I said.
I think we've already mentioned it, especially with the award stuff. I think there's a real possibility, and I think it would be a good thing for Riddle to become world champion in some time next year.
Yeah.
Or at least be built up to be ready to step up to that next level.
I've done this like 3 times over the last several years, but I really want Money in the Bank to mean something this year. Like, I want Money in the Bank. I said
realistic, Rob. No, I'm joking.
Well, you know, that's the issue. Is like it's been so long. Like this is gonna be scary. It's been 10 years since Ziggler won it. Well, we'll be this July. You know, and like they haven't done anything with it since then. And I want this next one to mean something. On the AEW side of things, I want to see hopefully Elite Undisputed Era Blood and Guts. Right? I want to see just more Bryan Danielson for as long as we can get him, because I think wrestling fans take shit for granted, and you don't understand. Edge, Bryan, they can stop wrestling like tomorrow. You just never know. So if they're willing to go ahead.
It's one of those things in particular that if you do tend to take pride, I completely agree with you, the people. You look at that fucking MJF bump from that 6-man tag team match. Like, we almost lost MJF in that match.
Yeah,
if it landed slightly worse, then he could have paralysed himself.
Yeah.
It's like, even the younger people, you don't know how finite these things can end up being.
So here are some things that I had written down. Some of these aren't posted yet, I don't think. That some of them are scheduled for tomorrow or the next day.
I thought people were paying for this. We can spoil it.
Yeah, so you get it ahead of time. But these things are on EWN. On the AEW side of my New Year's resolutions, I've got obviously that they should sign a bunch of people. Like, you know, give me Keith Lee, give me...
Keith Lee's the absolute one they should sign, yeah.
Let's see. I need to get rid of that because I have that they should sign Kyle O'Reilly. They did. Good thing I'm going through this list right now. Johnny Gargano, if he's not still just going to stick around in the WWE, I do think that they should sign some of the other people too. Like, I would like to see John Morrison and Ty Valkyrie there. I'd like to see what Tyler Breeze could do in AEW, Mercedes Martinez. I want to see Davey Boy Smith in there.
Yeah, because for him to be getting into the Owen. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Owen ends up being, and I feel like they could bring in a lot of international talent for that as well. Not just international, but people from outside of the main AEW side of things, almost like as a tryout thing. Like 64 men, 64 women. Just make it huge.
That'd be cool.
Run for like 3 or 4 months. Yeah, run for like 3 or 4 months.
They should do more of that kind of stuff, whether it's AEW or WWE.
They do loads of tournaments. I think AEW do a lot of tournaments.
I mean, like a big tournament, though. Like, something that'll not just be like, you know, an 8-seeded kind of thing.
It's very, very hard to organise, I imagine.
It's gotta be, yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to see the Hardy Family Office fuck off. I want to see the FTW Championship either go away or become their hardcore title.
I believe Hook will hold it. Hook will take it, and it will actually become something when Hook holds it.
I want to see... I'd like to see the casino ladder match chip be a Money in the Bank type of thing. Instead of just, like, you get your match at the next special. This isn't going to happen, but I've been saying this for a couple of years. I want something to wrestle with to be allowed to talk about current things and for Bruce to be able to explain things. Because it's just like, come on, just do it.
Is it an allowance thing, or is it the fact that Bruce doesn't want to talk about the things that's actually happening?
I'm assuming he's not allowed. Because I think that the way that Conrad tends to phrase it is, I know we're not allowed to talk about current things.
Right.
205 Live is already gonna die.
He just needs to get fired so like 90 days can expire, and then Bruce can just, so the fucking Fiend.
Right, yeah. I do really, really, really hope that this year we don't see the return of the Hell in a Cell or TLC pay-per-views.
That's a good shot.
If the TLC might not return, I think Hell in a Cell still will. But I'd love to see them just go back to like No Mercy, Fully Loaded, that kind of deal. I think that they need to do more TV specials, like what what AEW does. So give me more, like, I've been pitching it for a couple of years now. Do Clash of Champions week, where every title on all the brands is defended. Get people to watch all the shows. Do Monday Night Raw Battle Bowl around the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they definitely should be doing more specials, and they need to. And yeah, we kind of touched around the idea that obviously they had that stat about the Intercontinental Championship. Also, I think SRS shared a stat a couple of days ago about saying that the WWE Universal title only changed hands once on pay-per-view, and it wasn't an advertised match. In the whole of 2021, it was Miz cashing in on Drew McIntyre was the only pay-per-view title change. All the rest happened on Raw or SmackDown. Obviously, nothing happened on SmackDown because Roman Reigns hasn't dropped a title. But every other world title change happened on Raw, with Lashley winning and then Big E winning.
So I think that's going to be more of a common thing moving forward, unfortunately.
Well, it's the thing that I spoke about in the past, that the pay-per-view should just be slightly, not sort of bizarre, but slightly like different events where you like lead it more with stipulations more than you do actual title matches, because big matches should happen on TV because that's where the money is, and that's how you're going to get people to start watching again, is because they're not going to, if you say like, oh, we've got this big match planned for anything outside of WrestleMania, the likelihood is that people aren't going to watch it because they don't watch the week to week stuff. You really should be putting out your highest quality stuff on TV, and pay-per-view should just be for things that hardcores will care about. Like do some sort of a show built around, I don't know, like some sort of just like a King of the Ring tournament or something like that. Just some sort of
some kind of hook
thing like that. Yeah, like you could do a Battle Bowl type thing, or some sort of just some other tournament that's do a show built around an entire tournament for the Intercontinental Championship, and make that an entire pay-per-view special, and then on SmackDown or Raw, whatever show it's on, that's when the match actually takes place.
Yeah.
You show like replays of it leading up to it to make it feel like, oh cool, that you'll see a load of like matches building up to it, so that makes the title feel a bit more important, and that'll be on the pay-per-view. And then the actual match itself, because it's the big match, and it's the one that if you haven't watched the show, then you don't feel like you've missed out. Like you haven't watched the pay-per-view, it doesn't feel like you've missed out, because you're going to see the title match anyway. But if you have, you get to see what the journey was leading up to that match, and so it feels a bit more important to you. Something like that seems to be how pay-per-view should be used now.
Yeah, again, I think WWE thought of these things when they did the network originally. Remember, they had the Chamber be like a 1 hour special, did the King of the Ring finals be a 1 hour special. Do more of that. The fact that they've been on Peacock for a year, which is an NBC platform, and they haven't shoehorned in a Saturday Night's Main Event relaunch, seems like a good way to get the nostalgia, get the diehards, just bring it back. Like, you see the success of In Your House. People always say, those are fun shows. Just have fun.
I will say as well, something that I'm looking forward to in 2022, which seems to already be taking shape, is exclusively Saturday pay-per-views.
There are a lot more on the schedule then
yeah, I don't think it'll be exclusive.
It should
but
be.
Everybody's starting to play with it more now.
I just don't see. I've never seen the point of doing it on a Sunday. And again, I talk about this as like somebody from the UK perspective, so obviously mine's slightly more skewed than anyone else. But I kind of think like finishing a wrestling show at like 11 o'clock or midnight on a Sunday night is a really healthy thing to do. And people go to work on Monday.
I think their philosophy is Saturday night is the night that people would go and do something because they've got that extra day, and who's gonna watch?
But that's always when UFC and boxing and stuff was on.
Right.
They always would do stuff on Saturday night. So that's clearly the day for people who want to just sit down and watch a fighting or a show or something like that. Like, and again, we're not talking about the mainstream public, because the mainstream public doesn't matter. We're talking about wrestling fans. And
right.
Fans are the ones that
plan their lives around.
Yeah, I'm not even saying like that. It's just a case like they were the ones that it's more convenient for them to watch on a Saturday, because that's probably when they would be more in tune to watch.
And if you really want to try to make it something that would make more sense, pitch it as being a thing that you would get friends together for. You can't right now with the pandemic, but like try to play more into the idea of like how they were trying to do those like watch alongs, and you try to make like an atmosphere of like it's Saturday night, there's a pay-per-view, get your buddies together, get some pizza and some beer, and you just like that's your fucking Saturday night, right? You're gonna be watching SummerSlam, yeah, fuck yeah, you know, like that kind of thing. Instead of like I hope you tune in instead of going to the beach or something, you know, like if you act like it's a defeatist attitude for that, then you're gonna project that outward of yeah, who's going to watch it anyway? It's just WWE. I'll just fucking watch it later when I want to. And if people do that, then they're going to do that. They're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Saturday night works so much better.
I don't know. I feel like I don't like the fact that they're suddenly just like, oh, and SummerSlam's in July now. That's a small nitpick, but as someone who's been watching it in August literally all his life, because it started 5 years before I was born, yeah, why would I want to suddenly be like, all right, now it's the July show? As somebody who works in this field, I don't like the idea that they're thinking about running head-to-head with All Out. I don't like the idea that, you know, that's just becoming a thing where everybody is like, hey, I know you're watching Raw, but let's counter-program with this Twitch stream where we're going to announce 15 different news. I think the market is too oversaturated in some ways, just because literally everything is content and competition, and it's all too much. But that core product is lacking, especially in WWE. Like, this year more than ever, I think set a shitty precedent of WrestleMania. Sasha and Bianca. Storyline sucked. Nobody cares. Match was good. I think that's all it's going to be for like the next 5 years until somebody says, no, this is wrong. Let's stop this. And that's something I want to see change. Hopefully in 2022 so we can get it over with quicker.
I'd love to see a big wake-up moment this year. With like, I don't know exactly what would spark it, but like I'd love to see something happen that's not bad. I don't want anybody getting injured. I don't want anybody getting fired or anybody like, you know, losing their lives or God knows anything like that. Nothing bad. But I'd love to see something happen that makes WWE in particular just go like, all right, we got to cut the bullshit and stop like self-deluding. Maybe something like the ratings tank so bad on USA that USA really kicks them in the ass. I don't want them to lose their spot, but, you know, something that makes them do something more than, for 1 week our answer is this one thing on a 3-hour show. Because look at, like, we're going to talk about the day one predictions, but it's like, if you look at day one, they decided months ago, we're going to cut TLC because we're going to focus on day one. And then what's going on with day one? Well, we've got Roman and Brock. And it's like, okay, so you have one angle. You want a 4-hour pay-per-view to be, like, that's the reason you're watching. for one segment, and that also means that 9-something weeks leading up to that worth of hours and hours and hours of programming was to watch a 20-minute segment.
So, I will say that I'm actually a fan of the day one idea and scrapping TLC, just because I think it kept things a little more in motion rather than, alright, you guys know TLC doesn't matter, and then we're going to sit stagnant until like January 18th when there's 11 days before the Rumble and we need to do something. I think that this helped keep things interesting, and I think it's going to start the year off good, and that they'll already be warmed up, so let's keep the momentum going. It won't be like groundbreaking stuff, but at least it'll be better than, alright, we did this useless show, and now we're gonna coast until we get to the Rumble.
But we do have day one that we need to talk about. So I think that we should kind of round out the Darkcast. But let's do maybe one more topic just to make this an hour and 25 or something. I don't know. I didn't think about what the topic was.
Well, okay, so here's one. X-Pac says he's medically cleared.
Cool.
He's talking about, I'm ring ready in case my phone rings in early 2022. So he's talking maybe a Rumble appearance. I like that idea. I think X-Pac is awesome. I'd like to see him have one small run of matches. Is there anybody that, you really want to see come back, if it's just for a one-off, or, who do you want to see end their career in a better way than maybe they already have?
Kurt Angle.
Yeah, no, he's right.
Alberto Del Rio.
That's definitely not him.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned X-Pac, I'm kind of I'd be cool for that. I'm kind of liking the idea right now, although this isn't going to be what's happened. I kind of would love to see the 1, 2, 3 kid come back in the Royal Rumble instead.
That's what I said. Of course that's what I said. Shouldn't surprise anybody, but yeah.
I don't know who I'm quite cool with the idea of him coming back because I've always thought he was a very good worker. It's just a case of I don't know who he'd have a final program with. I don't know if there's anyone that's really jumped off the page from the current iteration of WWE. Especially considering the fact they don't have a cruiserweight division anymore.
Right.
They won't have after next week.
Johnny would have been really cool. Sammy, he's wrestled Sammy, but he's never wrestled this Sammy. He could probably have a lot of fun with him.
I'm sure there's lots of people that he could have a good one with. I just don't see there's one that's like a natural fit.
I think if anybody's got a chance of making it a natural fit, it's a guy like Sammy who can work his way into some conspiracy theory about the Attitude Era, you people peddled filth, and I'm trying to be wholesome, and or even now that I said that, not that I think he's a great wrestler, Joe Gacy. There's definitely a story there where it's this guy made his living off of telling people to suck it, and Joe Gacy's the cancel culture snowflake.
I mean, you obviously have an Austin Theory, who's a lot of his gimmick is built around just him taking selfies with more famous wrestlers and trying to build a name off them, so he might be able to do something. Seth Rollins has a bit of a visual comparison.
So, I'd like to see the match at least.
Yeah. I'm interested with the idea of him just coming back just to have a bit of fun for a little while and leave on as good a terms as possible. But in terms of people that I would just want to see come back, it's Angle, because I just wanted to have one more match that doesn't involve Baron Corbin.
I think AEW will get him to do it.
I don't think he'll go to AEW. I think he's I say this because there is a guy who spent most of his career in TNA rather than WWE. I don't think he's going to try and cut that bridge again. And I feel like if he was to go to WWE, if he was to go to AEW, then the match would be Danielson, obviously.
No, that's true. They do have Danielson now, so I might do that.
That's the only one I could see him coming back for. Even though he had a load of matches with Cody before AEW started, but like on the independent circuit.
I definitely want Triple H to do a proper final match if he can.
You have it up against?
AJ. Somebody's got to carry him to like a good match. Like, they can work the story as they need to. It would be AJ.
If we're fantasy booking this, I want Owen Hart to win the Owen Hart.
I mean, wouldn't we all?
That's pure fantasy, but
I mean, Jim in the final.
I wouldn't mind seeing Triple H and The Rock, but that's like one of those. I'm turning back the clock and saying this is purely a nostalgia trip for me. I don't, obviously need a belt or anything, but I'd like to see them have one more match because their careers were so tied together.
Kind of would have made more sense with the Ronda Rousey thing, right?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I can't think of anyone else.
I think that about rounds us out for the Dark Cast. We I didn't even do the rest of the heel and face turns. You'll find it on the thing. But that was like the game plan for this 100% or something. We're just
damn it, honey! They all want one thing. Just give it to them.
Alright, Alexa Bliss, Aaliyah, Eva Valkyrie, Asuka, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, Eric and Ivar, Persia, Pete Dunne, Randy Orton, Rhea Ripley, Solo Sikoa, and Timothy Thatcher returning heel. Baby faces are Becky Lynch, Bobby Lashley, Dakota Kai, Danny Burch, Dave Mastiff. Oh wait, no, he should be on the heel list. Let me switch that up because he is definitely turning heel at some point to be with Ilya Dragunov. MVP, Natalia, Seth Rollins, Tony D'Angelo, and Wendy Chu are all turning babyface as well. And Tozawa will bounce back and forth. There you go. There's the list. If you have any ideas what you'd like to see for another Darkcast coming up, we are going to obviously do at least one in January. I'm not entirely sure what that topic will be. It might be an extra fan house table. It might be something just kind of like this, where we're just shooting the shit. It might be something completely brand new. I don't know. Let us know. You guys are the supporters. You get to voice your opinions. You get to pick some stuff. That's the point. Anything else you guys want to just say before we leave? We don't need to do plugs and stuff. You guys already know.
Well, I would just again say thank you for a great year. Thank you for all the support, especially if you're paying to listen to this. So you're really supporting, and thank you for that. And I look forward to working with these guys more in the future.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of positive things hopefully on the horizon for 2022, and hopefully you'll continue to back us and maybe be joined by other people hopefully backing us as well that will be going back and listening to they did this thing back then even though I wasn't subscribed 6 months ago, but now I am, and so I can check this out, and you're hearing me now, and I'm talking directly to you, person that subscribed 6 months after this was released, and thanking you in particular for getting on board with this thing as well.
Yeah, Lyle.
Yeah.
Lyle.
Why?
Why
Lyle? You thought of? Yeah,
I don't know.
You thought of?
I don't know. This recurring thing where Caroline says that she's always curious what kind of name I'm gonna pick, because I just end up going with a random name. More often than not, Phil is one of my go-to names that I'll go with. But I don't know. Lyle came into my mind. So if you are Lyle out there, hey. Anyway, yeah, that's another Darkcast. We will see you when we see you, everybody, whether you're listening to this before or after the day one predictions. Might be that one, might be something else. I don't know. Adios for now, though. Happy New Year if you're not listening to this around that time frame or something. I don't know. Whatever. See ya. Adios. Battle Bowl. I tried to make multiple different graphics for Battle Bowl over the years because OTW said, fuck it, let's just do Battle Bowl as a name.
I love Battle Bowl.
And I was never able to figure out a really good way of making a Battle Bowl logo. I eventually settled on one that I thought wasn't too bad, and then they stopped doing it, and then I'm like, God damn it. Those are the champions? Scorpio and Bagwell.
Well, at least they're saying, like, well, they're not supposed to be, but here we go.
I didn't even know they ended up being champions. My WCW knowledge, especially from this type of an era, not all that strong. Very old school WCW, though, with the yellow and the purple. That blue, in general, too. Like, WWF and WCW had that blue going on. That was just, I guess, that was just the thing, that blue was popular as all hell.
Hell yeah.
Crowd's going nuts. Probably somebody in the crowd going, woo!
Why is Teddy Long with them?
Yeah, this is a weird fucking pairing. Missy Hyatt. God, look at Bagwell in that picture. Fucking baby face. So Hyatt, somebody I always forget kind of exists as far as like those valets go. But she's really she's Sunny before Sunny, when Sunny was like, yeah, let's actually do it, but like hot. Yeah.
Well, I think Missy Hyatt was very Sunny vibes.
That's what I mean, though. Like, she's Sunny prior to Sunny making it, oh wow, we can go like legit super hot.
So the Nasty Boys have to win here. Like,
Scorpio! God, look at Bagwell. This kid's got like the whole world ahead of him. That he eventually becomes Buff Bagwell. Meanwhile, Scorpio becomes Flash Funk.